Good evening, everybody. It is NFL Draft Night, the time when your team will fix all of their problems and assure a Super Bowl victory by selecting one player that will change the destiny of your team. So excited to be here with you tonight, talking some football, and so glad to be with you for that. So as you come on in, please hit that like, hit that subscribe. We are MetropoliFins. We're YouTube's smallest New York Mets and Miami Dolphins channel. So appreciate you guys. We are on the journey, the long, arduous journey to 300 subscribers. I just want to see. I haven't busted out a Dolphins jersey in a while. Who we got tonight? I think we got Zach Thomas out here tonight. There we go. So we're gonna bust out the Zach Thomas jersey for you here tonight. We're gonna do full draft pick by pick coverage, in addition to keeping you updated on all things baseball in the background as well. So we are here talking all things draft. The former Miami Hurricane Cam Ward is the highly rumored to go #1 overall draft pick. So we will see if that plays out the way that we are expected. We're going to stay with you at least till the Dolphins draft pick. And then we'll see if it's worth hanging out after that, if it's still exciting. Lots of rumors that there could be some fireworks, there could be some good trades, other stuff going on. So we're going to just be covering everything. We'll basically be doing all things football here tonight. So the draft coverage starts at 8 p.m. officially. However, that doesn't mean that the first draft pick's going to come in right at 8 p.m. And so we're just going to be here hanging out. So as you come on in, say hi. We'll go over. We've got the draft order scrolling at the bottom just so you can kind of have some idea as to what teams are picking when. Because you might be kind of like me. This is kind of the idiot's guide to the draft because I don't have the time right now to spend scouring the draft order, scouring who's going to pick when, what picks are on the rise, and what picks are on the fall. I'm just coming in as a casual when it comes to the actual draft here tonight. So if you've got a whole bunch of stuff going on and you know all about this, feel free to chime in with your wisdom. If on the other hand, you're kind of like me, just want to kind of maybe know some of these names from college football and stuff, but you don't really know what team is going to do what or whatever, then we're going to just kind of come in and we'll have some fun seeing what sort of reactions people have. Because that's as much fun as anything else because everybody is an expert here. That's the great part about it. So we're covering the NFL draft tonight. Appreciate everybody hanging out as you come on in. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Appreciate everybody being here. We are MetropoliFins. My name is Craig. We are YouTube's smallest New York Mets and Miami Dolphins fan channel. So it's perfect because the Mets have an off day today. So it's a perfect night to just talk all things football. So let me know, what team are you representing? What are you hoping to accomplish from the draft? No one will listen to me. I wish that the Dolphins would actually draft a quarterback this year to sit 1 year under Tua, and then next year they could either part ways with Tua and move on to their next pick, or part ways with this backup quarterback, or just have a good solid backup. That's kind of what I would hope to see. Realistically, I'm expecting that the Dolphins are going to be going and focusing on offensive line like they have been for years and years and years, and they never seem to get it fixed. But we shall see. A lot of it, of course, depends on who's available. I tend to be more in the club of choose the best available player. Or if you don't really like any of the best available players, then trade down or trade back in future years. So, we're talking NFL draft. Your Mets and Dolphins as well, Justin? Awesome. It's me, you, and Frank the Tank. Those are the ones I know. Mets, Dolphins. So I don't know if you're familiar with Frank the Tank, the very outspoken personality. He's also Mets, Dolphins as well. Internet guy, how's it going? Thanks for hanging out with us. So, yeah, we're just going to be hanging out, talking all things NFL draft here tonight. As soon as we have anything, we will let you know once we have either teams on the clock or all those different things. I think. All right, so they want to do valid token required. So let's see. was hoping that it was going to just load easily, but you never know. You never know. All right. Well, anyway, regardless, we're going to be able to follow along one way or the other. I don't think the actual coverage matters that much. That's if you wanted to watch the actual coverage, you wouldn't be hanging out here with me. So we're going to just kind of keep everything. So, like I said, if you're watching on the horizontal, we've got all the picks scrolling at the bottom of the screen. If you're on the vertical, I'll just do my best to update you as things come through. So we're going to close that off. Just figure out which tabs are going to be the. All right, so the Tennessee Titans have the first pick tonight. They are on the clock. It is highly rumored that the Titans are going to pick Cam Ward. I don't actually have a basketball team, Justin. If I had one, it would probably be the Timberwolves, just because I've been to more Timberwolves games than anything else, and it'd either be the New Jersey Devils or Minnesota Wild for hockey. But I don't really follow much on the hockey basketball front. I find that baseball is great because it carries you into football season, and football is great because it carries you. And as soon as football ends, you're into spring training for baseball. So you just have to make it through about a month and a half of no real games, from like the second week in February to the third or fourth week in March. As long as you can survive that, you've got sports year round as a baseball football fan. And honestly, in the middle there, even in March, you have the NCAA March Madness basketball tournament too. So that works. So, but I never really got into basketball or hockey too much. I'll always go to a sporting event, but in terms of choosing a team to really be a fan of, it's Mets, Dolphins, and then for college football and really all things college, it's Miami Hurricanes. But Hurricanes are not. They occasionally have a good basketball season, but that's been a couple of years now. And they've also they used to be really good for college baseball, but they've kind of been out of the mix for a few years there as well. So it's mostly college football for the Hurricanes. But it'll be exciting if Cam Ward does go number 1 overall. Be exciting to cheer on a Miami Hurricanes alum. The only reason the Hurricanes were even in the running for the playoffs this year was Cam Ward. So I don't know how he's going to translate over as an NFL talent, but I will be cheering him on, except for when he faces the Dolphins. So according to ESPN, the best available is Abdul Carter, an edge rusher out of Penn State. The best fit for the Titans will be Cam Ward. Of course, you're going to see teams tend to err on the side of quarterbacks if they need a quarterback. That's just how the draft works. Generally speaking, you're at the bottom of the NFL or the top of the draft board because you're doing that. Sports market guy. Awesome. Appreciate you. So yeah, tonight, Mets have the game off tonight. No Mets game tonight. I am actually listening to the Nationals Orioles game in my headphones too while we're talking, just because that's who the Mets are playing next. But yeah, just kind of a casual. All right, officially, the clock is going for the Tennessee Titans. Teams will have 10 minutes to make their picks here in the first round. Let me know what your football team is. I'll tell you what ESPN says about your team as they come up. So Titans are on the clock. The next pick is the Cleveland Browns. It is strongly the betting markets. Let's go KC, Redman. Awesome. So you've had a very nice run in Kansas City. You're not going to find that many people supporting the Chiefs here, I don't think. No love lost, but it's so if you're a Chiefs and a Mets fan, man, I talk about being king of the hill right now. Because I know the Chiefs didn't win it all this year, but still, the Chiefs have been a great. How many years now? We're like on eight years now. The Chiefs have been dominating. Are we close to 10? They basically locked up a decade already. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes was a steal. I like Mahomes coming out of college. So, you're a Giants fan. Hey, that's understandable. Right, you get a lot of those. Hey, I'm a Dolphins fan, so I can't make fun of anybody. Jets are trash. Well, there, that's something I think everybody can agree with, right? So, my brother-in-law, he's Mets Jets. I know it tends to be Mets Jets, right? Mets Jets fans, and then Yankees fans tend to be Giants fans. Your dad is Jets Mets Red Man, yeah. Sports market, yeah. But I isn't it like the Yankees and the Giants? They were kind of like for the rich and the famous, and then the Mets and Jets were like for the just the normal everyday average Joe. Is it a Long Island thing, Soundwave? See, so I just was always Dolphins, so I never really leaned into that too much. Your dad is Mets Giants sports market. Okay. Yeah. Chiefs have a superstar. You're gonna be waiting a long time for the Chiefs pick unless they trade up and do something crazy here tonight. Chiefs pick is next to last. Generally speaking, the draft order is reverse order of how the teams finished for the NFL season. For those of you not so familiar with that, that's generally, but unlike in baseball, NFL teams can trade their picks. And so you could see some fireworks here on traded picks and things like that. The Dolphins, so the Dolphins have had some good years the last couple of years and some bad years, but they are on like, if not the longest, one of the longest playoff win droughts. So that's that's what it is. So for me, this is the like kind of the make or break year for the Dolphins, or else we're gonna blow this up. And then, but it's like it's just it takes so long to reboot everything. So that's what makes this really difficult is if you don't tank, then you just get stuck in like 8-9 or 7-10 or 9-8ville in the NFL, and you just get stuck in the middle of the draft, and you never get the superstar quarterback or all these different things. So, what I was saying for me, Redman, if I were picking in my very non-expert opinion, I would want to pick a quarterback. I would want to trade up and pick a quarterback in the first round, put the pressure on Tua this year to say, Tua, you got to step up. This is your year that you need to take us over the hump, not just get us to the playoffs, but actually make a legit playoff run, not lose in the first round to the Buffalo Bills. So that would be what I would do. They're not going to do that. There's no way that the Dolphins are going to pay that draft capital to move up that much. NFL draft is tonight, sports market guy. That's why we're on. The Tennessee Titans are on the clock to make their first pick. In the next 5 or 6 minutes, we're going to know who the first pick of the NFL draft is. So that's it. So yeah, like there's you guys are like this is the stream for the super casual draft fans. So we're gonna talk about that and hang out with that. I'm gonna share the screen on the horizontal stream here because we can. Is that the one I want? Yeah, this is the one that we want here. So we're gonna share. If you're on the horizontal stream, you'll get to actually see it as it goes up. Of course, there are some big names that are in this here tonight. Specifically, you have Shadur Sanders, Deion Sanders' son. You've got Travis Henry, who's like a two-way offense-defense player. Let's go. Let's pick a slightly different. How's that? We'll try that so you guys can follow along. So teams have 10 minutes to make a pick. Redman, good question. So how do you know when to trade picks or draft? Thank you. Yeah, so it's the Miami for the Miami Dolphins over it. So Justin, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I wish that the Dolphins would draft a quarterback this year to play under Tua, hopefully light a spark. I do think that this is the make or break year. I think either Tua wins playoff games this year or Tua's not back next year in some capacity or another. And Mike McDaniel, I think the whole Tyreek Hill. I think this is they don't have to win the Super Bowl this year, but everyone needs to take a step forward this year. All right, the pick is in. The pick is in for the Tennessee Titans. The first pick. How's it going? It's draft day, Jaeger. It is, and we're talking football. I know you're not in on I know you're not in on all the baseball talk, but it is football night tonight, and the Mets don't even play, so it works out. Hope you are doing well. Yeah, I'd love to keep Waddle. I would love to have Waddle. I would love it if somehow the Dolphins could figure out how to win with Tua this year too. But I do think this is the make or break year. I think this is it. I think if the Dolphins do not win a playoff game this year, I think McDaniel, Tua, Tyreek might even go today. You never know. Tyreek could be packaged up in a draft pick package or something. So that it is highly speculative here that the Tennessee Titans are going to pick Cam Ward, the quarterback out of the University of Miami, and that is correct. Cam Ward from the University of Miami. Hey, thank you for the sub, Sports Market Guy. Appreciate it. So Cam Ward is the official first pick in the NFL draft. So first round draft pick and the number 1 overall from the Miami Hurricanes. I don't know if I have. I do. So we're going to represent. I do have my Miami Hurricanes jersey here. So we're going to rep out Miami Hurricanes, have the number 1 pick overall in Cam Ward. Congrats to Cam Ward. Watching them this season, what I got to do, it was great. All right, we have a trade. All right, Browns are trading the number 2 overall pick, a 4th round pick, and a 6th round pick to the Jaguars. So the Jacksonville Jaguars are jumping up. The Cleveland Browns have traded out. We have a trade. There is chaos. There is chaos. So the Jaguars are moving up from number 5 to number 2. All right. So we're gonna update some things here as much as we can. All right. So that means the Jaguars have someone that they really want. I love when my team trades down too, and especially when you're a team like Cleveland. When you're a team like Cleveland and you need all the help you can get. I love stockpiling picks. Okay. And so the Browns, they also get Jaguars next year's first round pick, in addition to only moving back 3 slots. This is good. So are they going Travis Hunter? That's the question. Is Travis Hunter? So Travis Hunter is a 2-way player out of Colorado. Is that who they're trading up for? I can't imagine the Jaguars are trading up. We'll see. You think they're trading up for a quarterback here? We shall see. We shall see. So again, if you're on the horizontal stream, you can kind of see everything. I got that on there. All right. Redman says Chiefs need to draft a player who can stop the running game. Chiefs need because Chiefs defense cannot stop the running game. Sounds like the Dolphins defense too. Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I don't have a ton of time to study the draft, so I don't even really know. I think we'll just kind of see who's out there when the Dolphins are coming up. We're going to be checking lots of different sources and different things. So right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock. The number 1 overall pick was Cam Ward, quarterback from Miami Hurricanes, now quarterback of the Tennessee Titans. On deck, I'm going to use some baseball terms here. On deck after this pick, after the Jaguars picked. So the Jaguars they traded up to get here, and the Jaguars are not looking for a quarterback. Not yet. They got Trevor Lawrence. Maybe going to give him Trevor Lawrence. I would say he has 2 years maybe to try to get over the hump, or he's got a little more. I think he has a little more slack because the Jaguars know they haven't put stuff around him. Whereas with Tua, the Dolphins have put weapons around him. And so I think that's the big difference. The Jaguars are still settling everything around Trevor Lawrence. So gotta imagine they're trading up for Travis Hunter. Patrick Mahomes has the best team. I would say overall, I would never feel comfortable picking against the Kansas City Chiefs, Red Man. Telling you, you're flying high right now with the Mets having the best record in baseball and being a Chiefs fan. That's a much better combo than most anybody else can have. Like what's a better combo of teams that you would want for baseball football right now? Not Eagles Phillies, that's for sure. All right. The pick is in for the Jaguars. I'm guessing we're going Travis Hunter here. That seems to me the best. ESPN has him ranked overall number 2. We shall see. We shall see. What do you guys think? Cam Moore, number 1 overall. Is Travis Hunter from Colorado going to be number 2? The pick is in. It takes a few seconds. So I watched a really cool documentary that shows how quickly they sew on the nameplates. They have all the letters ready to go to sew on the nameplates on the jerseys. And I mean, they get it done within like a minute, and they have all the size hats. They have the player sizes for the hats, and they have all the available sizes for every single player available, so they can go up there with a jersey that has their name on it. It's really cool. And I think it's, you know, and I get it from like the fan perspective. We don't like this, but some of these guys, this is going to be the highlight of their NFL career. They're just not going to pan out. It's just the way the NFL works. It's hard. It's hard to make it in any professional sport, and the NFL, Major League Baseball, it's just hard. So it's like it's really cool that they have that memory of like they'll always have that draft jersey that's available ready for them. So it was kind of cool. I'll see if I can find that documentary later. So the pick is in. We're just waiting for it to be announced. This is the number 2 overall pick in the draft. The Jaguars traded up 3 spots. So specifically, they jumped over. Who did they jump over? They jumped over the Giants and the Patriots. So here's to the Jaguars saving us from more Patriot domination. So hopefully they make a good pick. Due up next after this pick is going to be the New York Giants. Man, the Jaguars finished 4-13. That's worse than I remember them. That was a bad season for the Jaguars. I appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Make sure you hit that like and hit that subscribe. We don't do a ton of NFL coverage in the off season just because of time right now, but the best way that you can help provide more sports coverage is more likes, more subscribes. And so I appreciate it if you would do it. We broke the 200 mark yesterday, so now we're on the journey to 300. We've been streaming quite a few of the Mets games as well. So we will not be live, at least for the start of tomorrow's Mets game. Maybe we'll do a post game. And I'm not sure if we'll do Saturdays or not, but we will do Sundays. So we will be live for Sunday's Mets game for sure. All right, the pick is in, but it's I haven't got an announcement here yet. So All right. And the pick is in. And the pick is Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is the pick. The Jaguars moved up, traded away their number 5 pick and their first round pick of next year to move up for Travis Hunter. So this was the guy they had their eye on. I feel like that those talks have been in the talks for a while. All right. So what do you guys think? You got Cam Ward 1 overall, Travis Hunter number 2 overall, and the New York Giants are on the clock. New York Giants are on the clock. Yep, Travis Hunter. So he is a two-way player. It'll be interesting to see what the Jaguars are going to do with him. Are they going to keep him as a two-way player, or do they have him specifically lined up for a particular spot? All right, the New York Giants are now on the clock. I'm going to just again, this is not my analysis. This is just ESPN's. ESPN says that Jalen Walker out of Georgia is the best fit for the Giants. They have Abdul Carter, the edge rusher, as the best overall and actually the best in the draft. I don't know. I feel like the Giants are just they love kind of having that defensive thing. So I wonder if they're not in love with Jalen Walker here. I wonder if they would try to trade down a couple of picks too. Be interesting to see. All right, so we got the. I'm gonna see if I can find some commentary on some of these picks here of what people are thinking. Wow, there's a lot of people streaming the draft tonight. That's crazy. There's streams that have like 122,000 people watching. There's a guy who has even a longer beard than me. How about them Chiefs? Hey, well, mine shows up probably just because I'm subscribed to me. So appreciate everybody hanging out with us here tonight. Francisco Alvarez, Jeff McNeil are going to make the Mets a good team. I agree. I am looking forward to having what was basically supposed to be our opening day roster. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, I missed some comments here. So, Venus Welsh, Giants might take a quarterback, possibly. You got back from Disney World yesterday, Christopher. Awesome. Awesome. I'm sorry, the comments were not showing up. There's like some big names involved here, too. Venus, how's it going? All right. So, what pick do the Dolphins have? Melanie, how's it going? Appreciate you guys hanging out. Sorry, I missed some comments here. I'm streaming on both the horizontal and the vertical. I might have to do this somewhere else. I do not want to miss out on all your guys' comments here. All right, here we go. We're just trying to get this reset. All right. So let me answer some questions here that you guys have. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Because sometimes, yeah, it just does YouTube does that weird thing. It doesn't stay on top. Okay. So first of all, what pick do the Dolphins have? I saw that question. All right. So and again, remember, teams can trade up and down, right? So there is a flex here in all this. But if nothing changes, the Dolphins have lucky number 13 for Dan Marino. All right, so Dolphins are scheduled to have the number 13 overall pick. We'll see if that goes through. The pick is in for the Giants here. So do we think the Giants are going to go quarterback? It looks like since the pick is in, it means they're not going to trade. So this is going to be whoever they pick is going to the Giants. So again, I'm going off of what ESPN says here, just out of like kind of ignorance and a little bit here, but they are saying Jalen Walker is the best fit. But they go with the number 1 overall pick, Abdul Carter, which I like that pick for the Giants. I like taking the best available, especially when it seems to be kind of a consensus number 1. Awesome, Jaeger. Well, I appreciate it. Well, I'll do my best to keep you updated. So Abdul Carter had a 94 overall grade. He's an edge rusher out of Penn State. And he was who ESPN had ranked as the best overall player. And I like this pick for the Giants, making that. All right. I always like anytime you have the chance to get the best player available when other teams have battled over other guys they're still really good players, right? And all these guys are good. They're good college players. They've been run through the ringer. But you have the chance to hop and take the best overall. I like the Giants as a big defensive physical team. Also means, I guess, that the Giants have some other plan for a quarterback. So Abdul Carter is the 3rd pick in the draft. Cam Ward of the Miami Hurricanes went number 1. And that was to the Tennessee Titans. Travis Hunter went number 2 overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Abdul Carter out of Penn State went to the New York Giants. And the New England Patriots, who we are all enjoying watching suffer and not win a lot of games, they are currently on the clock with pick number 4. All right, I gotta tighten up my windows here. I need more screen space here to follow everything that's going on, because there's a lot. I need to watch. I have more windows open than I normally need, so I can follow along with everything here. Let's just keep that one. We'll keep that one there. All right, we like that. Yeah, Welsh, I do. As a Giants pick, you just can't go wrong with going with the number 1 overall. If I minimize that window, is that going to mess that up? No, okay, that's good. If I minimize that window, that's not going to mess anything up. All right. I want to be able to see more things on my screen here at once. All right, let me see if I can find a good place that is giving like instant draft grades or instant draft analysis, because like I said, I know some of these guys just from the college football side, but I haven't looked at them through the eyes of a NFL player. So all right, here we go. Let's do. All right, the pick is in for the Patriots. Pick is in for the Patriots. All right, I'll start. NFL has little articles written up on all these guys. Ooh, that's not what I was trying to do. 2025 NFL Draft. Titans select Miami quarterback Cam Ward with the number 1 overall pick. Cam Ward certainly solidified his case to the Tennessee Titans. The Titans selected Ward number 1 overall in the 2025 draft on Thursday night in Green Bay. The pick seemed fait accompli for week, with nary a rumor suggesting Tennessee might go another direction. KC, how's it going? It is draft night. Talking football here tonight. Ward heads to Nashville with a wealth of college experience, starting 57 games over 5 years. Signal caller began his college career at the FCS University of the Incarnate Word in 2020, starting 19 games over 2 seasons before transferring to Washington State. Then he transferred to so he had 6,963 passing yards, 48 touchdowns in 2 seasons there, and then transferred to Miami for his final season, cemented his status as the top quarterback of the 2025 class, Heisman Trophy finalist, consensus All-American, ACC Offensive Player of the Year, and the Davey O'Brien Award winner as the nation's top quarterback. He set single-season Hurricanes passing records. You got to remember, there have been some great Miami Hurricanes players over the years, including Bernie Kosar. Gino Toretto was a great college quarterback, and others. And so anytime you're breaking single-season records at the University of Miami, that's a great start there. He set an NCAA record with 158 career passing touchdowns. All right, so we're just waiting for the pick 4, the New England Patriots, to be announced. All right, we're waiting. The pick is in. The Cleveland Browns are due to pick next. Now, they've already traded down once, so don't be surprised if a team like the Browns trades down a second time, especially if they're looking to go all in on a quarterback next year if they don't have the guy they like this year. We will see. We will see. Waiting to see the pick. All right, let me read to you about Travis Hunter while we're waiting for the pick to come in. So Travis Hunter was taken second overall by the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars actually traded up to get to him, traded up with the Cleveland Browns. Jacksonville Jaguars made their first big splash with a new regime, and it wasn't into the pool. They moved up to number 2 overall and traded with the Cleveland Browns to select Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter on Thursday night. Jacksonville shipped the 2025 number 5 overall pick to the Cleveland Browns, who are due up in just a moment here, and a 2026 first-round pick and the 36th pick, the second overall. Fins Nation, fins up! For the second pick in the draft, the 104th pick, win the 4th round this year, and an extra 6th-round pick here. The deal marked the first trade involving a first-round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. The dual threat Hunter brings big play ability on both sides of the ball, giving head coach Liam Cohen the crown jewel of the 2025 NFL Draft. Hunter's the rarest of rare NFL players, unique talent who immediately boosts the Jags' offense and defense. The Jags made a massive move for a unicorn. Unicorn. All right, we're still waiting for this pick to be announced here for New England Patriots. One of college football's best players on both sides of the ball, Hunter enters the NFL from Colorado, lugging a trophy case filled to the brim with hardware. All-American, both seasons with Buffaloes. Hunter is the reigning Heisman champion. Will Aaron Rodgers, he'll find a team, I think. Will Campbell, offensive tackle from Louisiana State University, LSU. Will Campbell is the pick for the New England Patriots. So they go offensive tackle. Now, ESPN has him ranked number 14 overall. So I don't know too much. That sounds kind of like a reach, though. It sounds like a guy you could have traded back 5 spots for and still nabbed. I'm going to guess the Cleveland Browns are happy about that. Any Patriots fans out there? Not that we really care. We don't really care about Patriots fans being happy or sad, but all right, let's update the banner here. So Will Campbell is selected by the Patriots, offensive tackle. Cleveland Browns are on the clock. Let's see if I can do this here. There. That looks pretty good. Ooh, let's go. Let's try that one more time. On the clock. Cleveland Browns are on the clock. Let me finish reading a little bit about Travis Hunter here. By the way, for the Cleveland Browns, they suggest Jalen Walker as the best fit. He was who they suggested as the best fit in the number 2 pick. So if that's who they wanted, they could basically trade back and gotten the same exact guy they wanted to get anyway. The best available, according to ESPN, is Ashton Genty, running back out of Boise State. Hunter originally joined head coach Deion Sanders at Jackson State as the country's number 1 recruit in 2022. First 5-star football player to sign with the FCS program in 20 years. So he joined Deion Sanders at Jackson State, then followed him to Colorado. Alongside Shedeur Sanders, he flourished on the Big 12 stage. They played a whopping 1,460. He played 1,460 snaps last season, an average of 111.5 per game. That's crazy. Full-time wide receiver and cornerback. No one has averaged over 78 snaps per game in the past decade. Playing corner, Hunter collected a career-best 4 interceptions and 11 passes defended. On offense, he had 96 receptions, 1,258 yards, and 15 touchdowns. So basically, for you baseball fans, this is the closest thing that you have to Shohei Ohtani, right? This is Shohei Ohtani for football. All right. Not saying he's going to be that good, but if you want to just kind of understand the position versatility that he brings, to have someone who can play on offense and defense. Now, I certainly don't expect him to play anywhere near that amount of snaps, but the fact that you could play both, that'd be good. Justin, no, I don't do any video game streaming. Don't have time right now. Mainly just baseball and football games live, but the draft worked out okay in my schedule here tonight. Starts late enough that it works. So Travis Hunter. Oh, by the way, the pick is in for the Cleveland Browns. We were poor. We had rusty forks. You had a silver spoon. I always think of that song. The cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy, the man on the moon. When coming home, we'll be together then. And then that was a TV show too, right? In the 80s, Silver Spoons. Let me see. Is that a thing? Tell me I'm not imagining or Mandela affecting a TV show named Silver Spoons. Yeah, it was a thing. Ricky Stratton is a spoiled rich kid who lives the life that many kids dream of, but he still suffers from the problems that many teens do. So yeah, I remember that song. I remember that TV show and the song. All right, so Cleveland Browns are currently up. The pick is in. We're waiting to hear what it is. Ashton Genty and Jalen Walker are the ones that ESPN is suggesting here. A little bit more about Travis Hunter while we're waiting for the pick. We're just going to read the articles that they're putting out about these guys. It takes them a minute or two, so it's perfect. Fills the time and the gaps in between, so you can hear my beautiful, froggy, cold voice talking here too. So Diami Brown joined the Jaguars as well as Gabe Davis. So basically, this is like giving Trevor Lawrence the weapon that he needs. So Mason Graham, defensive tackle from Michigan. That is the pick for the Cleveland Browns. Mason Graham, defensive tackle from Michigan. All right, so we're going to update that here in just a second. All right, and then picking next is the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders, they are picking next. So we'll add Mason Graham. So we are through 5 picks. All right, let's go. Let's read about Abdul Carter. He was the number 3 overall pick. He went to the New York Giants, defensive end slash edge rusher out of Penn State. All right, here's learning a little bit here about Abdul Carter. A 3-win New York Giants squad from a year ago can now potentially boast one of the most terrifying pass rushing tandems for the season ahead. The Giants, I can't read it all. The Giants selected Penn State defensive end Abdul Carter with number 3 overall pick. Carter, viewed by many as the top overall talent of the 2025 class, excuse me, is now set to be a part of a dastardly defensive front overflowing with first-round talent. So taking a quarterback at number 3 was viewed as an option, but not a necessity. After signing Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston in free agency, the Giants weren't going to pass on one of the draft's few bona fide talents. With a defensive line anchored on the inside by Dexter Lawrence, returning from an elbow injury, Carter will head to the right edge to combine with Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau. General manager Joe Schoen previously said he would make a decision on Thibodeau's 5th-year option following the draft. Picking Carter certainly could impact that, but right now there's reason for excitement in Gotham when considering the havoc the Giants could have for opposing offenses in the NFC East and beyond. An explosive edge rusher, Carter was mentored by fellow former Nittany Lion and now future division rival Micah Parsons, and brings that sort of upside to NFL. An enticing athlete. Carter is a blur off the edge, owning a sudden burst to get off blockers and the strength to bend and blow past even top-tier linemen. In 3 seasons in Happy Valley, Carter generated 23 sacks, 39.5 tackles for loss, 13 passes defended, 5 forced fumbles, and an interception, earning 12 sacks and nation-leading 23.5 tackles for loss in 2024. Carter was unanimous All-American and Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. He started as an off-ball linebacker before becoming full-time edge at Penn State. That versatility makes the incoming rookie a movable chess piece who can make life miserable for defenses. So there's a little bit about Abdul Carter going to the New York Giants. And this article makes note of the same thing. By the way, the pick is now in for the Las Vegas Raiders. We're going to wait to hear what it is. It usually takes a couple minutes. But as soon as we know, we will pass that on to you. The pick is in. But the Giants' greatest successes have been when they have had a plethora of pass rushing talent. Nobody's talking Super Bowl for Big Blue at the moment. Stockpiling talent at one of the key positions in the NFL is a tried and true move. All right. Ashton Jeanty, running back, Boise State. That is the pick by Las Vegas Raiders. He had a really good season. Running back was definitely one of the needs the Raiders had. And Jeanty certainly could slot in as an opening day starter if he can earn that position in training camp. Redman, did you hear the Mets sent down Brett Beatty and Hayden Sanger for Jeff McNeil and Francisco Alvarez? I did not. That's kind of a surprise. I'm sure plenty of Mets fans will be happy for that. But I believe that's Brett Beatty's final option. So the next time they bring him up, they have to keep him or subject him to waivers. But I think that's kind of a surprise. I guess maybe it was a little more bluffing on how comfortable they are with some of these guys in center field for the Mets. So thank you for that Mets update here, Redman. One home run doesn't save Brett Beatty, apparently. Like I said, I know some of you guys will be happy for that. But all right, so the New York Jets. Boo Jets. Let's go Mets. New York Jets are on the clock. ESPN says the best available is Jalen Walker, linebacker out of Georgia. The best fit for the Jets is Tyler Warren, a tight end out of Penn State. Oh yeah, but that wasn't the question. Acuna was not. It wasn't whether you send down Acuna. It was whether you send down Beatty or Azokar. That was the question. So Acuna wasn't going down. It was Azokar, and honestly, hey, I don't have all the analytics and all those details in front of me. So the Mets, it's hard to question too much about what the Mets are doing right now. It's hard to question the moves the Mets are making when they just keep winning. But baseball's a cruise sport. You hit a huge home run one day, and then the next day you sent down to the minors. I agree. I like having Torrens and Alvarez to alternate with each other. You know, Torrens slightly better on defense. I think overall Alvarez is slightly better on offense. That's really nice to have back and forth on that. So, and Jeff McNeil is definitely going to add depth and hopefully add some contact to this lineup as well. New York Jets are on the clock right now, so we're waiting to see what that pick is going to be. Where are you seeing? All right, I see RotoWire's reporting the Brett Beatty move. I'm not actually seeing it on MLB.com, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. All right. So we are waiting. The pick is in for the New York Jets. Let's see who they decide to go with here. Pick is in for the New York Jets. Dun, 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 dun. Let's go here. We're waiting to see who the New York Jets pick. Any Jets fan out there tonight? I don't know. Justin makes a good question though. Is Aaron Rodgers going to find a team? Is there what team? The question is what team? Does he end up with the Dolphins? I don't know if Midnight's going to come on tonight, but Carolina Panthers are up next. Midnight's a big Panthers fan, so we'll see. We're waiting to see who the pick is here. Found SNY. Okay, I found it on a fantasy sports website, but they didn't have it on the MLB. Who are the Jets going to pick? Who are the Jets going to pick? We're waiting for this New York Jets pick to come in. All right, well, who the Jets have here? We are waiting. This one seems to be taking a little bit longer than normal to come in. All right, we're waiting for the pick. I'm trying to find some other articles on these guys who are being drafted. Armand Membu, offensive tackle out of Missouri. Armand Membu, offensive tackle out of Missouri, was selected by the New York Jets. Jets finished last year at 5-12. Armand Membu. So we're gonna go ahead and update that. All right. So the Carolina Panthers are on the clock. Let's go here. All right, we're going to read. Can we find an article here? All right, here is the overview of Will Campbell, who the New England Patriots chose for the number 4 pick. I'm going to just read you some overall profiles on some of these guys to fill in as we're waiting. We're waiting for the Carolina Panthers. Now they are on the clock. So Will Campbell out of LSU. This is his profile. Athletic left tackle prospect who's durable and battle tested, but has elements of high risk, high reward in this game. Campbell is a thumping run blocker who can clear out B gaps with forceful down blocks and displace base blocks with his strike and run technique. He struggles to win laterally, though. He will lunge and miss against stunts and movement. Campbell operates with good athleticism and agility and pass protection but is way too leaky against inside moves. He has a jarring heavy punch and can latch to control the rep. However, he has short arms, and when he's beaten to first action, the footwork and technique go out the window, forcing him to scramble and survive to save the pocket. His play is determined, spirited, and aggressive, which works in his favor, but Campbell must learn to vary his pass set technique and operate with optimal hand timing in order to thrive at tackle inside in or to thrive at tackle instead of being moved to guard. All right, so that's the Will Campbell profile. He was taken fourth overall offensive tackle from LSU, fifth overall. The pick is in for the Carolina Panthers, so we're waiting to see. We are waiting to see what or who that is. All right, so while we wait for that pick, we're going to go ahead and read to you a little bit about the number 5 overall pick, Mason Graham, a defensive tackle out of Michigan taken by the Cleveland Browns. All right, here is Mason Graham. This is his overview here. 3 technique who provides activity, effort, strength, and quickness. Graham's first step quickness makes interior disruption inevitable. He has the instant read and response to regularly beat lateral blocks. He's stout at the point of attack with great leverage and body control, but will lose some ground against double teams. Graham's lack of length makes it tougher for him to find quick wins as a rusher, but he more than makes up for it with his activity level and foot quickness. Harmonious hands and feet are the catalyst for his edge-to-edge counters, while his extended effort and closing burst help him get home. He may not dominate as a pro, but his strength, body control, and quickness should allow him to play his brand of ball and become a good starter in an upfield defensive front. All right, so that is a profile for Mason Graham, defensive tackle out of Michigan, who went number 5 overall to the Cleveland Browns. All right, that's what we have. If you're watching on the horizontal, we've got all the picks scrolling at the bottom. If you're watching on vertical, I don't have the text set up to do that yet, but I appreciate you being here nonetheless. So as you come on in, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're at MetropoliFins. We're waiting specifically for pick number 13, which is the Dolphins pick, but keeping you updated on everything that's going on. We are on the journey to 300 subscribers, and my name is Craig. This is MetropoliFins, YouTube's smallest New York Mets and Miami Dolphins channel. So that's what we have. We are waiting to see. The Carolina Panthers pick is in. It should come through here in just a moment, and then we'll keep getting you caught up on the previous picks that have been made. Again, if you're just tuning in, I'll just run through really quick. Cam Ward, quarterback from Miami, went number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans. The Jacksonville Jaguars traded up from the 5 spot to the 2 spot to pick Travis Hunter, the two-way player out of Colorado. Oh, we have a pick. The pick is in. Oh man, I'm gonna totally botch this name. Teteroa McMillan out of Arizona, the first wide receiver off the board. Teteroa? Man, sorry for botching your name. Teteroa. See if you guys let me know. 49ers have not picked yet, Arnell. The New Orleans Saints are on the clock. So let me I'll do a full recap here. I'm going to restart because sorry, that got interrupted by that pick. Wow, pick is in quickly here for the New Orleans Saints as well. All right, Cam Ward, quarterback Miami, went 1 overall to Tennessee Titans. Yeah, we're not there. They are pick 11, but we're not there. We're pick number the Panthers had pick 8, so we're just not quite there yet. Sorry if I was confusing. I'm just saying, as a Dolphins fan, I'm just waiting for pick 13 to get here. Not that it was up next. My apologies for that confusion. Travis Hunter went number 2 overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who traded up from the 5 spot to the 2 spot with the Cleveland Browns. Abdul Carter, edge from Penn State, went to the New York Giants. Will Campbell, offensive tackle for LSU, went to New England Patriots. Mason Graham, defensive tackle for Michigan, went to the Cleveland Browns with a pick that they traded down to. Ashton Jeanty, running back out of Boise State, went to the Las Vegas Raiders. Armand Membu, offensive tackle out of Missouri, went to the New York Jets. And Tete Roa McMillan, I'd probably botch his name, wide receiver out of Arizona, went to the Carolina Panthers. So I don't see Midnight here yet, but we'll have to ask if Midnight is excited about that pick. All right, so we've read through Mason Graham. Let's read a little bit about Ashton Jeanty. He's the running back out of Boise State. All right, here's a profile of Ashton Jeanty. Plays a position that's become devalued on draft day, but his unique talent and the resurgence of the run game in the NFL should force teams to reconsider that factor when weighing his value. He's the ultimate yardage creator with talent and skill set to succeed independent of the quality of his blocking. Jeanty's speed forces linebackers to flow hard outside, creating cutback lanes and chunk runs, while his vision, balance, and elusiveness get it done along the interior. The threat of what he can do on the ground should create the ideal play-action opportunities for his team, allowing his next play caller to, say, unburden a young quarterback or any other passer being asked to shoulder too much of the offense. He's compact and muscular, but there could be some minor concerns surrounding his massive workload in 2024. This top-flight running back is capable of becoming the face of an offense in a league where the pendulum might be swinging back towards the running game. Jeanty has future all-pro talent. So for ESPN, with the New Orleans Saints on the clock, their pick is in. ESPN says Jalen Walker is the best overall available. They have him ranked number 4 overall. He is a linebacker out of the University of Georgia. They say the best fit for the Saints is Will Johnson, a cornerback out of Michigan, their number 10 overall pick. Or their number, whatever, ranking, not pick. All right, the Nationals just lost their game to the Orioles here. All right. So here's what we've got going right now. Sports Market, welcome back. Welcome back. We are waiting for the number 9 pick for the New Orleans Saints to come in. Their pick is in. It just has not yet been announced. The Chicago Bears are on the clock in the background. So I'm not sure why there's a delay, but I'm showing a delay on multiple. I've got both ESPN and NFL open. So, and they both are saying the pick is in, and it hasn't been announced yet. So we are just waiting to see. So the Bears are on the clock. After that comes the 49ers, the Cowboys, and the Dolphins. Basically, you got 4 teams that all harken back to the 80s. Right? Bears, 49ers, Cowboys, Dolphins. All right. Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle out of Texas. Kelvin Banks Jr. He's ESPN's number 26 overall. I think that probably is a reach. You guys let me know. But I feel like that's the type of pick you could just trade back. They could have probably traded back 5 spots. But Kelvin Banks Jr. goes to the New Orleans Saints. All right, so we're gonna update the ticker. If you're watching on the horizontal, we are just updating the ticker as each player gets picked, so that way you can follow along and see everything that you need to see. Get caught up on that. With that pick in, we are going to read to you about Armand Membu. He was taken 7th overall by the New York Jets, an offensive tackle out of Missouri. All right, now we can also start looking here. That's good. So let me read about Armand, and then Welsh. Let's look to see who's realistically available. The Bears pick is in. It's going to be a couple minutes before we see what that is. So let me read about this guy. Young, talented prospect whose lack of NFL tackle size will test teams' willingness to make exceptions to their standards. Membu plays with composed quickness and elite body control. He delivers good pop on contact, has the range to spring runs with blocks in space. Footwork and core strength fuel stick block sustain, but he can be outreached by edge setters. His pass sets are technically sound, and he possesses twist and blitzes quickly. Membu plays with a varied pass set strategy and crafty hands to stymie rush momentum, but teams will have to live with long-armed rushers collapsing the pocket on him at times. Hands and feet work in unison to mirror speed and edge-to-edge rush challenges. He's still growing into his frame, but his game boasts unusual maturity. Membu's potential impact at a premium position should keep him at tackle, but he has outstanding potential regardless. So that was Armand Membu. Armand Membu, offensive tackle from Missouri, who went to the Jets. All right. So let's look a little bit here at a couple things. We'll look at some of the best available players, and we'll also look at some of the Dolphins' primary needs. Now, what I love here is this is totally me, and this is totally not going to happen. I'm liking Shedeur Sanders. Like, just go for it. They're not going to do it. I don't see any way the Dolphins pick a quarterback here, but man, I would be I know they have other needs, but man, I like that. I like that option. So let's see here. I just want to see where they have. I mean, you could possibly trade down and try to nab Shedeur later too, and then pick up somebody else there. But realistically, where are they going to go? I'm going to guess that unless there's like this huge lack of things. Well, I mean, Jalen Walker's currently the best available according to ESPN. And then they've got a pair of tight ends next, and some cornerbacks, edge rushers. See, like there's just nobody for the offensive line until you get way down there. So I don't really want the Dolphins to be reaching for the offensive line. So, but a linebacker does fit the need. So, like I said, if you can get the best available and it potentially is one of your needs, then I think that's where you have to go. So if the Dolphins have Jalen Walker as their number one and he makes it this far, that would probably be where I would expect them to go. Dolphins tend to go more on that way. So yeah, I that's where I would want to go, Jaeger, I want Shedeur Sanders, have him learn a year under Tua, light a fire under Tua. And then either you can part ways with Tua in the long run. I mean, Dolphins need help everywhere. The only place the Dolphins don't really need help is offensive weapons. But offensive line is trash, and our defense is pretty much trash. So that's why it's like you can just basically go. I think the Dolphins just go with best available. But I mean, it would be hard. It's hard to complain if Jalen Walker falls to the Dolphins. That would be hard to pass on him too. I'm just kind of curious. I want to see because I'm part of like some Facebook groups. I just want to see see if there's any talk going on of who people want to pick. I mean, there's question as to whether or not Jalen Ramsey is going to stay with the Dolphins. The Dolphins are going to trade him. But no, I mean, I'm all in for the chaos. I like chaos. So Shadur Sanders is like the chaos pick. That's the chaos pick if Jalen Walker is there. But I mean, I don't see how Jalen Walker's going to, is he going to last through the Bears and the 49ers? Is there something there we don't know about? Is there a reason why Jalen Walker is dropping if he's like number 4 overall by ESPN and he hasn't been picked in the top 10? Is there something there we don't know about too? That's always a question, right? Like you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. I mean, there's 2 cornerbacks available, which to do it. All right, one of those cornerbacks just went off the board. One of those tight ends just went off the board. There are 2 tight ends there. Colston Loveland, tight end of Michigan. So that's the second pick from Michigan. Yeah. So the Dolphins just don't need weapons. They just need trenches, and they need guys who can play tough in cold weather. So, but I know they have a love for SEC guys. So Colston Loveland. So we're pause on getting caught up on overall picks. We're gonna keep trying to analyze here. The San Francisco 49ers are on the clock, followed by the Cowboys and then the Dolphins. So, and what's going on with Jalen Walker? Is there a reason why he's dropping? Does anyone know? Because I mean, that's got to suck for him. And it's not even like it's a bunch of quarterbacks going. It's like tight ends and stuff. Like you wouldn't normally expect that. I think Mostert left, right? If I remember, Mostert left. I think the Dolphins and Mostert parted ways. Yes. He is now with the Las Vegas Raiders. Mostert is with the Raiders. So he went out west. And the Raiders also drafted a running back. So they're going to go with Mostert as their changeup guy. And then, yeah, what do you think, Rels? That's what we're talking about here. Jaeger's also in here as a Dolphins fan. We were thinking, do the Dolphins go? Man, I want the chaos of Shadur Sanders, or I don't know. We'll have to see, obviously, here what the pick for the 49ers is in. By the way, we're waiting to hear what that is. Ashton Genty from Boise State. Again, my apologies if I'm botching some of these names. I'm not claiming to do that. Yeah, Arnell, you're on the clock. So we'll see what they do. So the Raiders signed Raheem Mostert and drafted a running back. So obviously that tells you that they don't feel comfortable with Mostert carrying the main load if they're going to draft, with their number 1 pick a running back as well. But, I mean, it's going to be hard to see the Dolphins passing on Jalen Walker if he keeps dropping, unless there's a reason why he's dropping. And that's my question. So does anybody know? Let me just read if there's is there a concern here with Walker? Is there something we don't know? I mean, there's articles here saying why the Panthers at the number 8 pick should take Walker. Here's his draft profile. Let me just read this here. Oh, that's just a video. I don't want to watch video. That doesn't help me. Jalen Walker. Walker is a hybrid front 7 defender who lines up at inside linebacker and edge. He gets off the ball quickly and dips under blocks as a speed rusher off the edge. He has active hands and he wins the inside moves. Walker has short arms for an edge, but he tends to get his hands inside and gets blocker hands off of him. He tracks quarterbacks and closes well, adding on late as a pass rusher. Walker's a downhill run defender and inside linebacker, and he can stack tight ends and make plays in pursuit of the edge. So I don't know. That's who ESPN says is best available. Doesn't mean that's true, just means that it is. Pick is in for the 49ers. We're waiting to see, Arnell. We're waiting to see who your 49ers are going to pick. They say the best fit for the 49ers is Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan. So looking at who else is available, if the Dolphins want to go some other way, I got to refresh this. Yeah, fingers crossed that you don't hate the pick, right? The problem is there's just not many cold weather guys. There is a cold weather cornerback. Will Johnson, he has not yet been picked. So Will Johnson is a cornerback out of Michigan. And the reason I'm saying this is because the Dolphins don't have this cold weather toughness. And so I don't know if they would be tempted to go the direction of that. I still like Shedeur Sanders for the absolute chaos that it would bring. But here's what it says about Will Johnson. We're just looking at potential moves. As soon as the 49ers pick is in, we'll let you know. As soon as they announce it. Johnson excels at reading the quarterback, then getting his eyes on the receiver and breaking passes off in coverage. He splits high-low route combination, plays the ball, not the man in zone looks. Johnson is strong enough to reroute and stay on top of receivers and press coverage. He's a playmaker who returned 3 of his 9 career interceptions for touchdowns. Johnson missed 7 games in 2024 with turf toe, and he missed his pro day due to a hamstring. Well, that doesn't sound like something that I really want to. That doesn't sound like a player that I want to deal with for a first-round draft pick. Yeah. We are waiting to see who the 49ers pick, and then due up next is the Dallas Cowboys. So if y'all want to unify and hate on teams, you'll have the perfect opportunity to hate on the Cowboys. The Cowboys actually played well in some of their losses last year, and they were not too many pieces away from being 10-7 versus 7-10. So, not saying that they're going to be a good team this upcoming year, but we're waiting to see who the 49ers are going to pick. The pick is in. It's been in for a while. The Cowboys are officially on the clock here. It's just taken a while to I don't know. I think the Dolphins are going to go. They might go cornerback. They might go Jalen Walker if he's available. They might go cornerback, either Will Johnson or Jahdae Barron from Texas. There's 2 good cornerbacks available near the top of this draft. Because that's definitely a need as well. We'll see. We're just waiting to see what the 49ers are going to do here. Because you can kind of get down to now, after this, you can, if you're like a Dolphin. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins trade down because the Dolphins have more holes than picks. That's kind of my gut feeling too. All right. Michael Williams. Michael Williams is the pick for the 49ers, an edge out of Georgia. NFL got that one up. So you're kind of getting to this point here where all right, Cowboys are on the clock. So that's what we have. Michael Williams He's an edge from the University of Georgia. He was number 12 overall ranked. His teammate is number 4 overall ranked by ESPN and has not yet been. So here, we'll do a quick little draft recap with everybody here. Number 1 overall was Cam Ward from the University of Miami to the Tennessee Titans. Number 2, Jacksonville Jaguars traded up to that spot with the Cleveland Browns to get Travis Hunter. Number 3, New York Giants took Abdul Carter out of Penn State. New England Patriots got Will Campbell. Cleveland Browns picked Mason Graham with the number 5 pick they traded down to. Las Vegas Raiders picked Ashton Gentry, running back out of Boise State. New York Jets picked Armand Membu. Carolina Panthers Tatarioa McMillan. New Orleans Saints Kelvin Banks Jr. Chicago Bears Colston Loveland. San Francisco 49ers Michael Williams. That's what we have so far. The pick is in for the Cowboys, which means your Miami Dolphins are on the clock. This is it. This is game time, guys. This is the most exciting thing that's going to happen for the Dolphins for probably the next 4 months. Miami Dolphins are on the clock. We're waiting to hear what the Cowboys' pick is. There's definitely been some players jumping up beyond, which means there's some guys who are dropping. So we're gonna. I'll make my guesses here as to what I think. I want the chaos, Josh. I wouldn't be upset. Some Dolphins fans would be upset, but I wouldn't be upset. I've said from the beginning the Dolphins should draft a quarterback this year. Now, I don't know if they could trade down. Like, I don't know if you could trade down 10 picks and still try to nab Shedeur 10 picks down, but ESPN has him as the best available. So my thought process is you draft Shedeur, you light a fire under Tua. Tua knows he's got to win this year. All right, Tyler Brooks from Alabama, an offensive guard. He was ranked number 51 overall by ESPN. Wow, so the Cowboys really liked him. That is a huge reach by the Cowboys. I mean, that's like the type of guy you could trade up in the second round to get. That is a huge, huge reach. I don't know anything about him. I just like when you're jumping that much, that's a huge jump. Who did the Cowboys? Yeah, I don't even know. Who did the Cowboys pick? I'm sure he's making enemies quickly. Brian Schottenheimer, newest Cowboys head coach. I wanted the Cowboys to bring in Dion. All right. Well, Miami Dolphins are on the clock. So Jalen Walker, he was ranked number 4 overall. He's a linebacker out of Georgia. He's ranked number 4 overall. He is still on the board with the 13th pick. So what are the Dolphins going to do? What are the Dolphins going to do? So Jalen Walker, best available. They say, again, this is ESPN, so take that with a grain of salt. But we're going to roll with the overall because they have more time to research than I do. They say Derek Harmon, a defensive tackle out of Oregon, ranked number 15 overall on the draft board. They say that's the best fit for the Dolphins. But the Dolphins can use a quarterback too, especially if they're legit getting rid of Jalen Ramsey. So let me give you 3 names. I'm going to give you 3 names I think that they might go for. I'm going to give you Jalen Walker, linebacker out of Georgia, Jahdae Barron, cornerback out of Texas, and let's see, anybody else that, because the Will Johnson, I like that he's from cold weather, but I don't like his injury history here. Is there anybody else who sticks out? I'm going to go with those 2. I guess you could put Will Johnson on there if they think his injury history is clear. I have no idea. I've done no research. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say they're going to go Jalen Walker, linebacker out of Georgia, or one of the top 2 cornerbacks on the board, Will Johnson and Jahdae Barron. Will Johnson out of Michigan, which I like for the cold weather side, but he has some injury stuff he's overcoming, and Jahdae Barron out of Texas. So that's what I'm going to say. We're going to go with one of those 3 guys. That's my best guess. Am I going to be right? Almost certainly not. We are up, Jaeger. We are up. Shedeur Sanders is still available. He is the best quarterback available, according to ESPN. ESPN has him ranked 35th overall. Jackson Dart, Tyler Show. Those are some of the other ones. So, but Jalen Walker out of Georgia. The Dolphins like to go SEC. They have kind of an SEC bias here. They tend to. So there is no pick in yet. So I wonder, are the Dolphins trying to work out a deal? No. Everybody else has been really quick with the picks. So do you think the Dolphins are trying to make a trade? Because everybody else has had their pick in with like plenty of time to spare. All right, pick is in. Dolphins did not trade the pick. So the pick is in. It's been taking about 2 or 3 minutes. So we're going to do a deep dive. Sorry, this is a Dolphins channel. So we're covering all the picks, but whoever the Dolphins pick, we're going to deep dive in real time. So I'm guessing it's Jalen Walker or one of the 2 cornerbacks. Sports market guy. How you doing? So Will Johnson, Jahdae Brown, or Jalen Walker. Those are my guesses. Jason, how's it going? To my kid, are you saying walk? Did he walk last night? So he got a hit and 2 walks. So he finished the regular season with a batting average over 700. So I was very proud of him. He struggled on the mound a lot, though, yesterday. So we just went out and worked on some catch in the side yard today, and I'm going to have him pitch off the mound tomorrow. We did that. We end up losing. Got it. Win. I couldn't. No, we lost the game, but it was okay. We kind of weren't. I don't want to say we weren't trying to win, but we were. It was kind of final warm up. It was final warm up before playoffs, so we're trying to get all the pitchers in and stuff. But try to get all the kinks worked out before playoffs, which start on Monday. So they have 3 playoff games next week: Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So potentially their last practice of the season is tomorrow. So we'll see. We are waiting. Yes, you were subscriber number 200, and I appreciate that so much. And now we're at 205. So we are waiting for the Dolphins pick. I'm going. This is my guess: Jalen Walker, Will Johnson, Jahdae Barron. I'm going to guess the Dolphins go one of those 3. Though if I was the sadistic GM of the Dolphins, I would shock the world and pick Shedeur Sanders right here. You get the potential of. So first of all, it sets you up to hire Deion Sanders next year if this coaching regime is on the way out, right? So if McDaniel is done, if Greer is done, you come in fresh and you bring in Deion Sanders, and you just like like I feel like if you draft Shadur, you have a chance of also getting Dion next year. I know he says he's not coming to the NFL. Do I believe that? Not for a second. Do you think Primetime would turn down a legit coaching offer in the NFL to coach his son? I love the guy. I'm an 80s kid. Sorry. If you were born in the 80s and you don't, and you're a sports fan who doesn't love Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders, something's wrong with your childhood. That's all I got to say. All right, so we're waiting. The pick is in for the Dolphins. By the way, just for those of you wondering, the Indianapolis Colts are due up next. So Colts have the next pick. This is pick 13 in the first round here. The Dolphins' next pick is not till pick 16 in the second round. All right, Kenneth Grant. Kenneth Grant, a defensive tackle from Michigan. So they went north. That seems like, so they had him as what? 27th overall. So it does fit one of the needs. It is a defensive tackle. Kenneth Grant from Michigan. So we're going to go do a deep dive. Let me get the banner updated here for everybody coming in. If you're watching on the horizontal stream, you'll be able to see all the picks because I can't just keep constantly reading them over and over, but we got them scrolling. So if you care about that. All right, Kenneth Grant, let's learn. Because he was not on my list, like I said. Go Birds, Desert Fox. You like it, Welsh? All right, let's see. Let's see. Let's see what I can find on him here. All right, I'm going to read Michigan star defensive lineman Kenneth Grant entering NFL draft. So I'm going to tell you the first thing I like about this, I like that he's from cold weather because the Dolphins have been soft in cold weather games. So Kenneth Grant Jr., the massive defensive lineman who helped the Wolverines to a national title in 2023 in wins over Ohio State, is headed to the NFL draft. Grant will forego his final year of eligibility, he announced Thursday in a social media post. Now, again, this is from December, so this is from a long time ago. Mel Kiper lists him as the number 19 overall prospect for the draft, number 4 draft eligible defensive tackle. All right, great athlete, Welsh says. A native of Gary, Indiana, Grant formed the nation's best interior defensive line tandem with Mason Graham, who declared for the draft earlier this month. Ranks number 4 on Kiper's big board. Grant led Michigan with 2 fumble recoveries, ranked second on the team with 5 pass breakups while adding 3 sacks, 6.5 tackles for loss, and 3 quarterback hurries. He earned second team All Big Ten honors and third team AP All American honors. Grant had 4 tackles and assisted tackle in Michigan's 13-10 upset win over arch rival Ohio State on November 30th. Here's the other thing I like, too. I'm going to tell you another thing I like about it is Michigan, coming off their great season, had a poor season, but they did not show any quit throughout the season. Even though they didn't win games, they didn't quit. And that shows something about the character of the team and thus the players on that team. He first flashed incredible athleticism in 2023 at Penn State when he tracked running back Katron Allen on a breakaway. Grant started 5 games for Michigan's national championship winning team, finishing with 29 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 6 quarterback hurries, 5 pass breakups, 1 interception, 1 fumble recovery. He also earned second team All Big Ten honors that year. Grant joins Graham, cornerback Will Johnson, tight end Colston Loveland in declaring for the draft ahead of Michigan's bowl appearance. So, and Colston Loveland's already been drafted, and Graham. So you have 3 Michigan players who went in the top 13. By the way, the Indianapolis Colts just drafted Tyler Warren, tight end out of Penn State. Tyler Warren, tight end out of Penn State. That is the next draft pick. But we're going to keep diving in on Kenneth Grant Jr. here in a second. I'm going to keep the scrolling updated here. Let me, I got to copy a name. All right, Tyler Warren. Trying to keep all this information updated for you. All right. On the clock is the Atlanta Falcons. They are on the clock right now. Atlanta Falcons on the clock. All right. We're gonna do a more dive into Kenneth Grant Jr., defensive tackle out of Michigan, the #1 draft pick. The the first react. All right. Well, it does not preclude a Shadur Sanders draft either. I mean, the Dolphins need help on the lines, offense and defensive line. So it's hard to do. All right. This is the overview from NFL. Grant is a broad body nose tackle whose tape can run hot and cold depending on the game and the types of blocks he's facing. He struggles to anchor when hit with down blocks due to his narrow base and tall pads, but he uses his power and length to beat single blocks and split double teams when he finds the crease. He had some sack production in college, and we could see him improve in that area once he learns to create more rush space with his hands. Grant's game will finally come together in full when he's able to take impressive physical attributes and impose his will on opponents. Strengths: built with a broad chest, thick lowers, and long arms, capable of playing multiple spots in odd or even fronts, can absorb and split double teams when pad level is right, possess club strength to knock blocker off balance, good strike and extend with arm over release as a two-gapper, put together a solid performance and upset win over Ohio State, bangs around with heavy hands as an interior rusher. Weaknesses: too often lacks explosiveness for dominant early phase reps, plays with tightness and lowers and a narrow base, has a tougher time growing roots against angle blocks, limited range and short area quickness as a tackler, poor first step quickness to create advantages for his rush. All right. So that's what we have so far. The Atlanta Falcons are still on the clock. No pick is in yet. No pick is in yet. I'm going to post that so everybody coming in can see that there. Yeah, playoff for baseball starts Monday. It's a pool play. So there's 4 teams in our pool and only 1 team makes it out alive. So this could be the end of the regular season here. Let's see what people say. Adam on Adam Schefter's Facebook post. The fan overreaction. First comment was they need some more toughness on that D line. Someone said they need much more than picking a fringe first rounder at 13. I don't think he's a fringe first rounder based on what I'm seeing here. I'm not here defending the pick because I don't know anything, but I'm not seeing anywhere where he was going to go past pick 15, 16, something like that. So you gotta always not trust the comments. Well, unless Miami trades for a corner, decides to keep Ramsey, I don't hate this. Kind of reminds me of a Christian Wilkins pick. Taking a top defensive line is a key part of a championship team. So what is up with Jalen Walker? They ranked 4th overall. Is linebacker just not a need? Is there some issue there? He's got to just feel gross sitting there. He was thinking he's a top 5 pick, and he's not a top 15 pick at the moment. And nobody's trading up to get him either. Michigan fans are saying, absolute disruptor. Glad he was drafted where he belongs. Congrats. Hard work pays off. Go blue. I wanted the Steelers to draft him. This pick makes Michigan Wolverine, Miami Dolphins fans happy. Where are all the Buckeyes? So Arnell, I don't know much about the guy. So it seems like those who watch college football like the pick. And that to me means more than those Dolphins fans who will criticize anything that the Dolphins front office will do. You know, of course, everybody's like the Dolphins needed a quarterback or a safety but I don't know. It was not any of the guys that I was targeting. I like that they picked a cold weather guy because this Dolphins team is soft. And so picking somebody from Michigan who has both a winning, he's part of the Michigan and not just like on the roster. Like he started 5 or 6 games for the national championship Michigan Wolverines. He's played in cold weather and obviously doesn't care. And so I like that side of it. Of course, I mean, our offense and defensive lines are both trash. We're there's a reason why we didn't make the playoffs. There's a reason why we are where we are. So I don't hate the pick. I don't love the pick. I don't know enough to really know too much about it. Let's see. I just want to see if coached by Harbaugh, which means he knows how to play football. That's another good point. I didn't even really consider that, and he's a third Michigan player to go. So obviously NFL teams are valuing that. So he grades a 6.34, which is like a plus starter. Let me read more. Is there more on this? The pick is in for the Atlanta Falcons here, by the way. There's just one round tonight. We're just going to go, and if you guys are wanting to hang out, as long as there's people here, I'll hang out with you. And we'll hang out through the end of the draft. So let me do a little more digging. We'll also let you know when the pick is in. Oh, Jalen Walker goes from Georgia to the Atlanta Falcons. So he gets to stay at home. That's got to be pretty cool for him. I mean, he doesn't want to drop that far in the draft, but so Jalen Walker was sticking out there as this pick who just kept dropping. And he finally goes here to the Atlanta Falcons. So I had him on the short list for the Dolphins as well. Arizona Cardinals are on the clock. So the question is Shedeur Sanders going to go in the first round? What do you guys think? Is Shedeur Sanders going in the first round? What I love about the NFL draft is it's kind of just like any day on the NFL. It's like you see all these predictions and everything like that. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Even the NFL experts, like, they don't know. They have an entire Mel Kiper's built an entire career out of getting the draft wrong. That's a wise man. I'm sure he picks more players right than the average fan, but not by significant amounts. All right. Arizona Cardinals are on the clock. We're just deep diving here more on Kenneth Grant, the defensive tackle pick out of Michigan. Jaeger, what do you like so far? Are you good with that pick? I'm just trying to see what Facebook world is thinking. All right. The This is the early Dolphins fan reaction from the Facebook page. Not a fan of the pick. I smell another first round bust. Response: It's always a risk to take the second best defensive tackle from a team in the third round, and we did it at pick 13. So, but Dolphins fans are they're not happy ever. So, yeah, I like the cold weather. Look, everybody knows their jobs are on the line. The Dolphins are going all in to make a playoff run this year because everybody's gone. I think there has to be. People are going to stop showing up to games. If this team tanks, people are going to stop buying merchandise, stop going to games. You know, if they're not making a run this year, and that means everybody's got to go from the top down. I still want Shedeur Sanders. Now I want him even more. It's like it would have been a stretch to draft him there, but now I want him even more. All right, let's see if I can find. I'm just looking for more commentary. Post-draft analysis. Miami has struggled with the interior of its defensive line since Christian Wilkins left in free agency after the 2023 season, and had looked for run-stuffing nose tackle even when it had him. Grant is an answer to interior run issues at Miami, and he has the first step quickness and upside to eventually become a viable pass rushing threat, even with a nose tackle build. The Dolphins still have needs in their secondary address, especially if Jalen Ramsey is traded, but those become day 2 priorities. Pick is in for the Arizona Cardinals. Pick is in. That's from Marcel Louis Jacques. Louis Jacques. Sounds very French. The Dolphins have 1 pick in the second round, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, and 3 in the seventh. So the Dolphins have quite a few picks in this draft. All right. So far, Dolphins fans don't like it, but they don't like anything. Let me look up. All right, this is from the Palm Beach Post. Miami Dolphins have selected Michigan defensive tackle Kenneth Grant with a 13th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Grant, 6'4", 331 pounds, is a massive run defender, helps fill what is a massive void on the Dolphins' defensive line. The Dolphins' biggest needs entering the draft were cornerback, guard, and defensive tackle. Excuse me. Among the most logical targets for the Dolphins entering the draft were offensive linemen Will Campbell, Armand Membu, and Kelvin Banks. I think all of those guys were taken. Defensive tackles Mason Graham or Kenneth Grant. Cornerbacks Will Johnson, Jahdae Barron, or Malachi Starks. And we had talked about Will Johnson and Jahdae Barron before that. All but Johnson, Barron, Starks, and Grant were selected ahead of Miami's slot. The Dolphins are planning to trade cornerback Jalen Ramsey, and they've also already released cornerback Kendall Fuller. Dolphins enter the NFL draft with only 4 defensive linemen on their roster. Wow. So the Dolphins only had 4 defensive linemen on the entire roster, let alone starters, just on the roster in general. Zach Sealer needs a running mate, and the Dolphins had Liam Eichenberg slotted as starting guard entering the draft. Eichenberg better serves the Dolphins as a reserve. Kenneth Grant. That's a weird sentence. I'm just going to read it how they say it. Kenneth Grant compared has himself to powerful defensive. Did AI write this? Palm Beach Post. Kenneth Grant has compared himself to powerful defensive tackle standouts Dexter Lawrence of the Giants and Vita Vea of the Buccaneers. Scouts say Grant is massive, strong, and violent. Intriguing quickness and power, said Daniel Jeremiah of the NFL Network. He's a dominant run defender. Hey, look, that's what you want. If you're going to make a first-round pick, you just want to pick a guy who's dominant. And I like he's cold weather, and I like he's a champion. I like those things. On what was a great team. Obviously, some of the Michigan players got drafted last year, but some of them went back. And a tight quarters mauler who has the potential to serve a dominant role in the heart of an NFL defense, says Kyle Krabs of 33rd Team. Grant has a compact, powerful frame and offers explosive hands to jolt and reset the point of attack. Scouts say Kenneth Grant can be inconsistent and is not fully formed. He's very much a work in progress as a pass rusher, said Jeremiah of NFL Network. He flashes quick, violent hands to club swim for wins, but far too often doesn't have a plan and stalls out. He hasn't learned to harness his strength to bull rush and consistently collapse the pocket. Pairing Grant with defensive tackle standout Zach Sealer will be a major boost to increasing Miami's physicality against the run. The Dolphins passed on defensive backs Jahdae Barron, Will Johnson, and Malachi Starks, and offensive lineman Gray Zabel. This tells you how badly Miami felt it needed to add size and strength in the defensive trenches. Miami will try to address cornerback and guard in rounds 2 and 3. The selection will surely please Dolphins owner Stephen Ross, a graduate of Michigan and one of their top donors. Kenneth Grant had 18 tackles and 3 sacks for the Wolverines last season. Grant had 6.5 sacks over the past 2 seasons. All right, so that's what we have. That is what we have. Walter Nolan, defensive tackle from Ole Miss, went to the Arizona Cardinals. Walter Nolan on the clock with a pick in is the Cincinnati Bengals. All right, so we're just deep diving the newest Miami Dolphin here. But if you got comments on anything else, that's fine as well. We're trying to cover everything that you need to know. So pick is in for the Cincinnati Bengals. You're now to teams that had winning records on the season. Cincinnati Bengals were 9-8. And up next, Seattle Seahawks. With the Dolphins having more picks and this being a make or break season, do they look to trade up here? There's still 2 cornerbacks, Will Johnson, Jahdae Barron, both on the table. Do you, man, you'd hate to burn next year's first, but could you burn this year's and next year's second round picks and throw in an extra 7th or something like that? I wonder. Yeah, Justin, I mean, we suck in cold weather. And it's not just because we're from Miami. Because the San Francisco 49ers, they're from warm weather. They can go into Green Bay and win games. They've done it multiple times. So I'm okay. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, this is gonna put us over the edge and Super Bowl confirmed. But I'm also saying I'm willing to look at it and kind of take a. I was going to try to read a New York Times article, but they want me to pay $1. Not paying you $1. All right. I'm just finding more articles here. Michigan defensive tackle Kenneth Grant has been selected by the Miami Dolphins, taking the 13th overall pick. I'm trying to skip over stuff I've already read so it doesn't get boring, repetitive. Grant earned a name for himself for the Wolverines en route to national championship in 2023. He was a monster that season, recording some excellent numbers. Then he matched them as a third-year player in 2024. Finished last season 32 tackles, 7 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 5 passes defended. Prior to enrolling at Michigan, Kenneth Grant was ranked as a 4-star prospect and the number 277 overall player in the 2022 class. He also checked in as the number 33 defensive lineman in the class, number 9 overall player from the state of Indiana. So you go from being number 9 in the state of Indiana to number 13 in the draft. That's not a bad. That means he's been growing, guys. So if he wasn't 4-star is not bad, but it's not a 5-star recruit. So he went from being a 4-star recruit to being drafted number 13 overall, or even a first-round NFL draft pick. That means he's growing and he's exceeding expectations every step of the way. Oh, I saw a for the Bengals. Like, that doesn't make sense, but it's not Shedeur Sanders. It's Shamar Stewart, edge from Texas A&M, goes to the Cincinnati Bengals. Shamar Stewart. Shamar Stewart, edge, Texas A&M, going to the Cincinnati Bengals. So if you're watching, if you're watching on the horizontal stream, we've got all the picks scrolling at the bottom. Got a lot of stuff going on, but we are just deep diving. Kenneth Grant Jr., the pick by the Miami Dolphins out of the University of Michigan. All right, I'm just looking. Chargers have not picked yet. Yeah. So here's what I would say. Again, looking at this not as an expert. You've got a guy who can play in cold weather. The Dolphins stink at cold weather. You got a guy who can stop the run. The Dolphins stink at stopping the run. You've got a guy who was a 4-star recruit out of high school and has advanced to being a first-round draft pick in the NFL. That means he exceeds expectations. So I like that. Right? So, and then you've got a guy who got to be coached up under Harbaugh before Harbaugh went to the NFL. So, taking all those things into consideration, it fits a need. It's cold weather. He exceeds expectations. Oh, plus he's a champion, right? He was on the Michigan Wolverines championship roster. I think you put all those things together, and it's like, could have picked worse. Like I said, I'm not saying we're going to the Super Bowl with that pick, but I can find more things good about it than bad about it when I'm just doing a deep dive here. Was it a bit of a reach? Maybe. But the Dolphins obviously felt that the need to stop the run and really seal up the line was more important than trying to do it. And truth be told, the 2 cornerbacks that we were talking about are still on the board. Now, they're not going to last too much longer, especially one of them's probably going to go to the Buccaneers, I'm going to guess. By the way, Seattle Seahawks are on the clock. No, Chargers have not picked yet, Welsh. So, Chargers have the 22nd pick. That's where they are slotted. We're getting there, though. Current pick is 18. Seattle Seahawks pick is in. I mean, you've got that other cornerback. Why do I keep saying quarterback? You have the other cornerback from Michigan. You have Shedeur Sanders. Man, I would love to see the Dolphins move up here and grab somebody else. You know, if you're win now, forget next year's first-round draft pick. You know what I mean? Like if you're not in tank mode, then you tank next year, right? So if this is the win at all cost, we don't need draft picks next year. You go all in for this year if your job's on the line. So don't throw 2 years first round draft picks away, but throw next year's first round draft pick if you need to, and get the guys you need now. Like I don't care. There's a 30% chance this is a winning team this year, and there's a 70% chance we're doing the same thing next year anyway. So I'd rather just go all in and then just know we're going to suck the following year if we can't win it. Kaylee, I miss you too. I only have one active phone right now because I'm trying to cut costs. So I'm working on some things. I'm working on doing something with the channel, but I just needed to take a step back and refocus, and I tried a direction that didn't really work. So I'll be back over there. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll be back. Gray Zabel, offensive guard, North Dakota State. That is the pick for the Seattle Seahawks. And that will put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the clock. Gray Zabel. That's a cool name. I like it. So despite the promise of a lot of fireworks, we've only had one trade so far. So Seattle picks Gray Zabel from North Dakota State. That's a good cold weather dude to bring in there. That doesn't matter as much for Seattle, but if you're playing at North Dakota State, you're good. You're good with cold weather if you're playing in North Dakota. All right. Finding another article here on Kenneth Grant Jr. from the Michigan Wolverines, just drafted by the Dolphins. Here's some scouting reports that were written up by him. Or not by him. Written up about him. Mason Graham gets the headlines, but Grant is an impressive athlete given his frame. He has the tools to be a pass rusher, but didn't put it together yet in college. If he can improve his consistency and develop better pass rush technique, he could be a plus starter sooner rather than later. Another scouting report, perhaps the most physically imposing player in the entire draft. Grant was listed as the Athletics' number 3 player on its freak list for a reason. The defensive tackle was named a third-team All-American in 2024 and dominated his entire career. He finished his 3-year tenure in Ann Arbor with 69 tackles, a program record for defensive linemen, 12 passes defended, 3 fumbles recovered, 11.5 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks, and an interception. So there's some more information. Keep digging. Digging and diving. Here's this is from a Michigan page, right? I feel you maybe get some more information this way. At 6'4", 331 pounds, Grant was a force to be reckoned with during his time at Michigan. A gift from the football gods, as Jim Harbaugh said. Grant spent 3 seasons in Ann Arbor, anchored the defense particularly in his sophomore and junior seasons. Grant played sparingly as a true freshman in 2022 before busting onto the scene in 2023. During the national championship run, he tallied 29 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 4 pass defenses, 3.5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, 1 interception as a junior, 32 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 5 pass deflections, 3 sacks, 2 fumbles recovered. He only participated in the bench press at the NFL Combine this year. Where he put up 22 reps. While his testing numbers were a bit disappointing, Grant still possesses tantalizing potential and has the ability to be an elite player at his position. He is a larger than average defensive tackle in the NFL, but doesn't play like he's carrying extra weight. There's also been some criticism about Grant's ability to make an impact instantly, but in my opinion, he has as high of a ceiling as any of them. Grant is a powerful player and has an incredible ability to locate the ball. If he's not making a play on the quarterback, he's hunting for the ball. He's got fumble recoveries and an interception in his college career, which shows his ability to scan the field. All right, so that's more information. More information here. The pick is in for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, by the way. This first round goes a little bit slower with all these first round picks, and then they go much faster in the later rounds. But it is really important for teams to have the time that they need to make the decisions, try to work out trades and different things. Denver Broncos are due up next. I'm still in the camp here of I don't mind the Dolphins trying to trade up. Get one of those cornerbacks. They're still both available. You can even just wait until one of them gets picked and then try to trade up in the spot right afterwards. I feel like the Buccaneers are going to pick one of them, though. So the two cornerbacks that we are there's two cornerbacks that we're talking about that are at the top of the list. It's Will Johnson out of Michigan and Jahdae Barron out of Texas. And there's actually one more, couple more slots down, Maxwell Hairston out of Kentucky. So you could get two Michigan guys. But that other Michigan guy, he's got some injury stuff, a toe injury and a hamstring injury. And so I don't know if I love that, but pick is in for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We are waiting to see what they do. So they do need a cornerback. I think they're going to take one here. They've dropped pretty far. So it's not an overreach here to really grab any of them. ESPN also likes James Pierce here out of Tennessee, an edge. So we're going to say Pierce, Will Johnson, or Jahdae Barron. That's my guess. Nope. Ohio State pick here. Emeka Egbuka. Did I botch that? A wide receiver. Ranked 40th overall. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go with a wide receiver. Emeka Egbuka. It's a fun name to say, but I'm probably not saying it right. So Ohio State, after three Michigan guys have gotten picked so far, well, I mean, this just makes it more and more tempting for because every slot you go down, it gets a little bit cheaper to trade up. All right, on the clock is the Denver Broncos. On deck after that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers need a quarterback. So if you are interested in Shedeur Sanders, you got to be on the phone. I've got to be on the phone with the Denver Broncos right here, right now. If I'm the Broncos, I'm trying to find somebody who wants Shedeur Sanders, jump ahead of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and get maximum value for your pick here and trade down. Unless there's some guy you absolutely love. But I mean, there's a couple cornerbacks that are high here, and that's not necessarily a definite need for the Broncos. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I think the Steelers have to. They have to pick Shador here. I just turned on a setting on these headphones. It makes it sound really weird because it's like I can hear myself through. I got to figure out how to turn it off now. How do I turn off ambient sound? So officially, the Denver Broncos are on the clock right here. They have about 3 minutes left, but I wonder if they are. All right, that's better. I figured that out. All right, still sounds weird in my head. All right, on the clock, the Denver Broncos. But I would just think that if you are interested in a quarterback, there, that's better. If you are interested in a quarterback here, this is the spot you have to jump up to, and the Denver Broncos are in the driver's seat. There's no pick in yet, so we will see. We will see. Is there going to be a trade? It's going to be Shador to the Steelers. It has to be. Who do the Steelers have on their roster? They signed somebody, right? So they lost Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and Kyle Allen. They're all gone. So they currently have Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson. Skylar Thompson, the former Dolphin, and Mason Rudolph, they signed him back, who used to be their backup. This is Shador Sanders all the way here for the Steelers. It's got to be. Unless, is there some other team that's going to jump up? There's no pick in yet for the Broncos. Broncos aren't picking Shador. They got Bo Nix, and they are happy. Man, how would I love to see a trade here? Miami Dolphins trade up to this spot. Do it, Miami. I mean, if you trade and you trade up for the quarterback this year, even if you have to tank, then you at least don't have to spend your first round draft pick on a quarterback in the future year. You already have them. So it's like you could tank Tua this year, go for the win. If you don't have a good season, trade everybody away, reload on draft picks, but you already have your quarterback in Shador. Keep Waddle. Keep all your young guys, trade all the vets. All right, pick is in. Broncos were not able to get a trade done. Wonder if any teams called them or whatever. I wonder. So we're not expecting Shador here. We'll see. We'll see who they're going for here. The other quarterbacks after Shador, you got like Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss, Tyler Show out of Louisville, Jalen Milroe out of Alabama, Will Howard, Ohio State, Quinn Ewers out of Texas, Kyle McCord, Syracuse, Riley Leonard, Notre Dame, Dylan Gabriel, Oregon, Probably not going to get much further than that. All right, let's see. We're still waiting for the Denver Broncos pick here. We'll see what they got. This is pick number 20. Pick number 20. There's 32 total picks, by the way. 32 picks in the first round. Unless trades go down, here's the rest of the draft order here. It's Denver Broncos, Pittsburgh Steelers, Los Angeles Chargers, Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, Houston Texans, Los Angeles Rams, Baltimore Ravens, Detroit Lions, Washington Commanders, Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles. Pick is in for the Broncos, but has not yet been announced. So we've kind of dug through everything we can find from Kenneth Grant. So if I'm going to make a quick little video tonight, if I'm going to do that, I need to make some notes. I don't even know if I have a pen. Probably should. If I'm a Dolphins fan, I should probably make a video. But all right. Jahdae Barron, cornerback from Texas. That was one of the picks I was looking for Miami. Jahdae Barron, cornerback. Texas Longhorns goes to the Denver Broncos. That's a good pick for them. He fell. Everybody else was worried about other people. All right, is this it? Is this Shedeur Sanders? Is this the Shedeur Sanders show right now? What do you guys think? You have to draft. If Shedeur is here, you have to draft him. You don't have a quarterback. Quarterback is the most important position in the NFL. You don't have a quarterback. And there's only been one quarterback drafted, right? I mean, we've had drafts where 4 quarterbacks go in the first 10 picks. It's got to be Shedeur. If you're a Steelers fan and they don't draft Shedeur, like, you don't want to go into the season with Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson. Even if you want to bench Shedeur for the first couple of games. Even if you want to do that. Unless Tomlin's like, nope. But, I mean, is Tomlin on the hot seat this year? Probably. Steelers fans are ticked. They don't like just squeezing into the playoffs every season and then losing. As a Dolphins fan, count your blessings, right? But let's see. Is this anybody but Shedeur? Is there any other? Is there any other play or any other pick? Is there any other quarterback that they could go for here? Overall rank, let's see. They have Shedeur 35th overall. Jackson Dart, they have 39th overall. So you kind of have these two guys. I don't know. I think you have to go for it. Pick is in. Pick is in for the Steelers. I think I'll probably do both. I'll probably do a short and I'll also do a I'll do a long form. That's why I just wanted to find a pen and just jot down the basics of. Here's a pen. So the pros. I'm just going to focus on the pros because there's going to be so many negatives and stuff. Basically, what we've already covered in here, Jaeger. It's not going to be anything new. I'm doing the research here while I'm live with you guys, but coached by Harbaugh. Coached by Harbaugh. National champion. No, they didn't. They did not go Shedeur. They went Derek Harmon, defensive tackle from Oregon. Wow. Wow. So Shedeur does not get picked there. The absolute Tomlin way, right? Drafting defense in the first round, even though you don't have a quarterback in the NFL. Yeesh. What do you guys think on that? Well, where does Shedeur go? Shedeur, is there, because there can't be anybody left who needs a quarterback here. Chargers don't need a quarterback. Packers don't need a quarterback. I mean, is someone going to trade up now? Somebody's got to move into the first round to get Shedeur. Man, I'm telling you, I like Shedeur as a late first round pick here. If the Dolphins don't have to give up much more than like next year's first, give up next year's first and then trade down in the second round, I'm okay with that. There's also a pretty good cornerback out of Michigan. You could trade up. Like there's a couple guys that you could get here. All right, here's the rest of the round. Let's just go through. Does anybody need a quarterback from this crew? I doubt it because these are all the teams with winning records. Chargers do not need a quarterback. They are set. Packers, they are set. Ooh, do the Vikings? Shedeur? Do the Vikings need a quarterback? What did they do with Darnold? Shedeur Sanders. J.J. McCarthy is set to take over as starter. Where did Sam Darnold go? Did he get a big contract somewhere else? Oh, he went to the Seahawks. Good for Sam Darnold. Way to cash in. That's not going to age well, by the way. 3-year, $100 million. Wow. See, I'm totally not up on that. Good for you, Sam Darnold. You Steelers going for D. You better believe it. We don't need no quarterback. We haven't had one since Roethlisberger. Run stopper. Cold weather. Overreach. Yeah, I mean, good on you, Sam Darnold. And there's no way I would have kept him as the Vikings, especially since you had McCarthy anyway. Okay, so the Vikings aren't drafting a quarterback. The Strouds aren't drafting a quarterback. Rams sticking with everything, right? You're not trading Lamar Jackson, no. Lions, no. I mean, so who needs a quarterback? That's crazy. You might have only one quarterback go this first round. So who's jumping in? Okay. The Giants must need a quarterback, right? Hold on. Who do the Giants have as a quarterback? Oh, could you imagine Shedeur Sanders to the New York Giants? Yeah, so you got. So the New York Post said yesterday the Giants will make a stunning selection by picking Shedeur Sanders at number 3. Well, here we are at pick 22, and Shedeur is on the board, and you don't have a quarterback. Okay, so that would make sense here potentially for that would make sense for the Giants to trade up. I mean, and it's really just about finding the team that's not going to fleece you and waiting till the right pick and hoping nobody else. Okay, so the Giants need a quarterback. All right, what teams need a QB in the draft 2025? I shouldn't have to do all this. Wow. 14 teams that should consider drafting a quarterback. These are the locks. This is what they say are the locks to draft a quarterback. Tennessee Titans, they did that. Pittsburgh Steelers, they said no. New York Jets, they have Justin Fields. The Saints. I don't think anyone expected Shedeur Sanders to be on the board here. So you have to imagine these other teams that felt like it wasn't worth a top 10 pick for Shedeur that need a quarterback. These are the near locks to get a quarterback. The Giants and the Browns. If the Browns don't take Sanders at number 2 overall, like these are legit conversations people were having yesterday of Shedeur Sanders going number 2 overall, number 5 overall, number 7 overall. The Giants have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, so you could definitely hold off there. Do they put the Dolphins on this list? They should. No, Dolphins didn't even make the list. They put the Carolina Panthers on the list? I don't know. I guess if you're done with Bryce Young and if you think he's toast. Well, Jacksonville Jaguars is a backup, but I don't know. There's a lot of I wonder, is it surprising? Where was Shedeur Sanders mock draft? Where was he going in mock drafts? So some have him going as high as the 9th overall pick to the Saints. Others suggest he may fall to the Steelers at the 21st pick. Well, he's already fallen past that. Will Johnson, cornerback from Michigan, is best available for the Chargers here. Omarion Hampton is best fit according to ESPN, running back from UNC. So the Chargers are on the clock here with 7 seconds left. So this pick's going to come through any moment. Shedeur. So Steelers don't really have. They have Mason Rudolph, Arnell, and Skylar Thompson. So Skylar Thompson was like the backup quarterback for the Dolphins. Mason Rudolph used to be the backup quarterback for the Steelers. He left and he came back. I don't know where he was in between. Pick is in here. So no trading down. Are teams worried about the circus? Imagine saying, oh man, we don't want the circus of Deion Sanders around our team and passing on him. Is Shedeur going to drop? Okay, so basically one of two things is going to happen. Either Shedeur drops out of the first round or some team trades into the first round. I think it's more likely a team trades in. The benefit of being a great team at the bottom of the draft is you just don't need these picks. They're nice to have, but if you can stockpile more picks for future years, I mean, if you can nab the Giants' first round pick for next year, and then you get to still move up in the second round this year, for your bottom of the first round pick, I'd take that deal all day if I'm most of these teams at the bottom here. Maybe not Detroit because Detroit drafts so well, but if I'm like the Chiefs, the Eagles, and I can nab the Jets first round pick for next year or the Giants or the Steelers, I'm hopping all over that. We're waiting for the pick to be announced here for the Los Angeles Chargers. I think he's going to go. What do you guys think? Do you think Shedeur Sanders is going in the first round? I think some team's going to jump. I'm not watching like the actual broadcast, so I'm not like tainted by any of the narrative that they're spinning. I'm spinning my own narrative. I don't need ESPN. They go Omarion Hampton, running back from North Carolina. That was who ESPN said they should pick. So congrats, ESPN. You got one right tonight. Well, two, I guess. Maybe you got 3 or 4, but you've barely been getting any of them right with the best fit. But Omarion Hampton is correct. And we are on to the Fighting Tom Grassies and the Green Bay Packers. That cornerback from Michigan is still available. He was ranked number 10 overall. Some Dolphins fans wanted us to pick him. But Green Bay also has cornerback on their need list as well. All right, one fan on the Dolphins board said this is the correct pick. He's an alien of an athlete and a good person. He's what they needed. Somebody else said, yeah, I don't like the pick either. Man, most Dolphins fans are not a fan of this pick. All right, I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like we got to get a trade. Well, then who's the Vikings? Yeah, okay, so they're going J.J. McCarthy. Okay. Eagles, Chiefs, somebody's calling those guys to jump up. Maybe the Houston Texans would be a good trade partner. I feel like the Texans they kind of just were able to get to the playoffs because they're in a weaker division. I feel like maybe they have more holes than draft picks as well. Just kind of like the Dolphin way. We have more holes than we have draft picks. So is there a chance? That seems like a good trade partner for somebody who wants to move up. Someone who's got like an early second round pick, needs a quarterback. Let's see. I just want to see how many picks the Texans have. First, second. Ooh, and the Texans also, they don't have any 4th or 5th round picks. But they have like 2 6, 3 7s. They have 1 first, 1 second, and 2 thirds. So I feel like that would be a good trade down. They could trade their first to get 2 in the second and maybe get back a 4th and a 5th round pick. And then one of those two, a 4th or a 5th round pick, and then steal somebody's first round pick from next year. All right, I'm calling it. I am calling the Houston Texans trade. Green Bay Packers are on the clock as we speak. I'm going to call it. There's going to be a trade. Some team's going to trade up to the Houston Texans slot. All right, we're waiting to see what the Green Bay Packers do with this pick here. I'm going out on a limb. I'm gonna say the Houston Texans are gonna trade the 25th overall pick. Someone's gonna jump up. They're gonna grab Shedeur Sanders, 25th overall, trading with the Houston Texans. I don't know who's gonna trade up. There's lots of options here. I wonder the Browns, since the Browns already traded down earlier, that maybe what do the Browns have to trade? Do they have a good? Because they already moved up some, so now they got more picks to trade. Yeah, they have 2 early picks in the second round. They have the first and the 4th pick in the second round. They have 2 third-round picks, a 4th, a 5th, and a 6th-round pick. That looks like a good trade partner. They could trade one of their early second-round picks plus their 5th-round pick plus maybe next year's first-round pick to jump up and grab Shedeur. They get the 2 first-round picks they need. Let's do it. I'm calling it. Browns are going to make another trade. Browns are going to trade with the Texans. I'm calling it right now. All right, hold on. I'm going to be right back with you guys here real quick. We're going to open up some goldfish here. We've got to give ourselves a little snackages here. Green Bay Packers pick is in. Tom Grassi, I'm sure, is excited. I didn't pick the flavor, but it's Parmesan. Parmesan goldfish. Well, they were buy one, get one free at Publix, so. The only bad thing about goldfish is they dry out your mouth a lot. All right. ESPN says Will Johnson is the best available. He's a cornerback out of Michigan. James Pierce Jr., an edge out of Tennessee, is what they say is the best fit for the Packers. All right. We're waiting to see. You know what we can do while we wait? I can give you guys a baseball scoreboard update. There's not a lot of games going on today anyway. All right, top of the 5th inning. The Pirates and the Angels are tied 3-3. Top of the 5th inning. Diamondbacks lead the Rays 3-0. Rangers and Athletics are tied, 0-0, and that's the middle of the third. The White Sox beat the Twins 3-0. That game was shortened to 7 innings. Mariners beat the Red Sox 4-3. I have the Mariners in my top 10. They're barely hanging in there, but I keep winning. That's against the Red Sox on the road. The Giants scored 2 in the 8th to beat the Brewers 6-5. Orioles beat the Nationals 2-1. And the Royals swept the doubleheader against the Rockies 6-2 and 7-4. We are waiting for this Packers pick. Matthew Golden, wide receiver from Texas. That is where the Packers are going with that pick. So none of these teams are getting offers that they like better. That means I got to update this. My scroll is getting too long, so I got to take out some cities from some of these teams. I only have like 1,000 characters. It'll let me scroll here on the bottom of the stream, but I don't picture the Vikings going quarterback here. So they're going to roll with J.J. McCarthy. Is there a trade here? Is there a trade? Chiefs are coming up soon. The draft is the first round's going to be done here soon. And I guess there's still about 7 more picks. So we're on pick 24. Chiefs are pick 31, Redman. So the big question is a team going to trade up into the first round to nab Shedeur Sanders? Is there a world where that's going to happen? We'll see. Got to imagine some of these teams are taking offers. All right, not the Vikings, though. Their pick is in. We'll see if I'm right. I guess that we're going to get a Cleveland Browns, Houston Texans trade. Wouldn't that be funny, too? You get the Cleveland Browns could trade up to the Houston Texans to get a quarterback to replace Deshaun Watson. If the Vikings started hacking their rivals to death, in this day and age, it'd be a 15-yard penalty. In the 60s and 70s, probably nothing. How you doing it? And Russ? And Russ? Like if every team literally just acted out like what they normally did. Dolphins were just trying to swim down the field. All right, so the Minnesota Vikings are on the clock. Their pick is in. Hasn't been announced quite yet. The big thing we're watching is Shedeur Sanders going to go in this first round? So basically, Vikings pick will be in. What we'll do is we'll do a little draft recap and we'll pick up on reading up on some of these guys, I think, for a little bit. There's like an hour left in this draft at least. All right. Donovan Jackson, offensive guard, Ohio State. That is who the Vikings pick. Donovan Jackson, offensive guard, Ohio State. Get that updated. All right, so that is pick number 24. Now we're on to the Houston Texans. Pick number 25. Oh, there is a trade. There is a trade. I got the trade part right. I got the wrong team. Anybody want to guess which team just traded? The New York Giants just traded in. Is Shedeur Sanders going to be a New York Giant? Oh my goodness. Could you imagine Shedeur Sanders in the New York market? It's going to be chaos. Well, I thought the Texans were in the right position. Yep, Giants traded up. Is Shedeur going to the New York Giants? It could be. I mean, is there anybody else that's like, I'm trying to see what the trade was. Is Shedeur Sanders going? I would expect the pick to be in right away. Like, why trade up if you didn't already have something planned? This has to be Shedeur, right? I mean, from a marketing standpoint, Shedeur in New York is beautiful. From a gamesmanship standpoint, when Dion was with the Cowboys, taking Shedeur in the same division, that's beautiful. For the media circus, that's beautiful. I got half of it right. I got that the Texans were going to trade. I just got the wrong team trading up. I thought it was going to be the Browns. I'm very intrigued now. There's also Jackson Dart. A lot of people think or have Jackson Dart rated right around the same place as Shedeur. And he's Ole Miss, just like Eli Manning was. So let's throw that one out there, too. This has to be a quarterback, though. Right? All right, the pick is in for the Giants. It's got to be Shedeur or Jackson Dart. Can't imagine the Giants traded up to take not a quarterback when they don't have a quarterback. The Rams are picking next, by the way. Los Angeles Rams are picking next. We're waiting to see if the New York Giants are going to go with a quarterback here. Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart. Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart. It's going to be one of them. I mean, this article I'm reading, they had the Giants picking Shedeur at number 3. What is it? What's the pick? Jackson Dart. It is Jackson Dart. They go Ole Miss. They're going to try to recapture the Eli Manning magic. I told you guys. We called that. We called that Jackson Dart's in play there. So the Giants trade up to get their quarterback with the Texans. But it's not Shedeur Sanders. It's Jackson Dart. We have another trade. The Atlanta Falcons trade up now. Do the Falcons So the Falcons just traded up with the Los Angeles Rams. All right. So do the Falcons have a quarterback? Yeah, I kind of figured Dart's the safer pick. All right, so the Falcons just traded back up as well. James Pierce. Falcons need an edge. James Pierce is ranked 16th overall. We're at pick 26, so I wouldn't mind Miami moving in here. I don't know who's going to trade with them, but yeah. No, it's not. I don't think this one's a quarterback. I thought the Browns were going to trade up. Browns have to get their quarterback, right? And do you really want to go down to Jalen Milroe? I don't know. Shador in Cleveland's not a good combo. Any quarterback in Cleveland is not a good combo. I'm going to guess they're hopping in for James Pierce here. Well, now we get some action. I mean, it was like we had the one early trade. And then nothing. And now back-to-back trades. Better save some garlic or some Parmesan goldfish here. It's pretty easy to eat the whole bag. James Pierce got it right. Hey, I'm on a roll here. James Pierce Jr., an edge out of Tennessee, goes to the Falcons. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a good snipe by the Falcons because he was dropped. He dropped and they came in and scooped him up. Well, that's why I like about this guy from Michigan, this cornerback. I didn't like him as a high first because of his injury. But as he keeps dropping, I don't mind Miami hopping in here. There's got to be. right? How long are you going to play chicken here? This is Baltimore Ravens on the clock, by the way. Excuse me. Baltimore Ravens on the clock. Doesn't look like anyone's trading up. Usually if there's a trade, it gets announced pretty quick. I think the Giants have done well too. They got the best available early on. I liked what the Jaguars did trading up. I like what the Titans did. I like what the Giants did, taking the best player and then just trading up to get the quarterback later. So definitely. And for the New York market, as great as Shedeur Sanders would be for selling tickets, it might be more distractions than what it was worth. I still say Shedeur goes here. Not necessarily this pick, but first round. Goldfish trying to swim away on me. All right. Ravens are still on the clock. I'm going to be right back with you. Put my goldfish away. All right, the pick is in. Pick is in for the Baltimore Ravens. You know, they're not going to trade with the Browns. Detroit Lions are up next. I could see the Lions trading down. Let me see what picks, how many picks the Lions have. So Lions have a first, second, third, fourth, a sixth, and 2 sevenths. So they're not like a super deep draft. They're picking late in all these rounds. So what teams have won the draft day one? Like the Falcons, the Giants, Titans, Jaguars. I would say the Browns, especially. especially if the Browns trade back in. The Ravens need a cornerback, and I feel like they could be the risk taker here that takes Will Johnson with his injuries. I'm gonna guess that they're gonna go Will Johnson here. ESPN has a game where you can pick. So far, the ones that I've actually picked. All right, the Falcons get 2025 first round pick, number 26, third, and the Rams third round pick. The Rams get the second round pick and the seventh round pick, as well as next year's first round pick. That's a good trade for the Falcons and the Rams. Falcons got the one they wanted, and the Rams got more and better picks. So I think both teams did well on that trade. Malachi Starks out of Georgia, a safety. Malachi Starks, Georgia safety, is going to the Baltimore Ravens. I think I could see the Lions making a trade here. Lions don't have a ton of picks. So I could definitely see the Lions doing a trade. I feel like the Commanders probably won't trade, but teams must be pretty nervous about Will Johnson's injury. Keeps on dropping, even teams that need corners. He just keeps on dropping. All right, what do you think of your favorite team? How are they drafting? Do you like what you're seeing so far? Are you kind of done with it? You done with the draft as a whole? Let me know in the comments whether you're watching live or on replay here. So I appreciate everybody hanging out with us here tonight. Taking a break from baseball to enjoy the NFL draft. The Detroit Lions are on the clock. The pick is in. They are not trading the pick away. Detroit has been drafting so well recently. Consistently making good picks. What was it, 2 years ago? They just absolutely dominated the draft. I just got myself a catering delivery order for tomorrow. Gotta make sure I got work to do tomorrow too. All right, the pick is in from the Detroit Lions. We're waiting to see. So I got the team so far that I'm liking the direction they're going: the Falcons, the Giants, the Titans, the Jaguars, and the Browns. Now I want to see a little more from the Browns here. And honestly, all the teams that have traded down in general. So we are waiting to see who the Detroit Lions are going to pick. Let's do this while that's going. I'm just going to run straight down. Here's the picks that have already happened tonight. Number 1 overall was Cam Ward, quarterback from the Miami Hurricanes, the U. went to the Tennessee Titans. Travis Hunter, both offense and defense, two-way player, went to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who traded up with the Browns from number 5 to number 2. Abdul Carter, edge from Penn State, went to the New York Giants. Will Campbell, offensive tackle, LSU, went to the Patriots. Mason Graham, defensive tackle from Michigan, went to the Browns. Ashton Genty, running back from Boise State, went to the Raiders. Armand Membu, offensive tackle, Missouri, went to the Jets. Teteroa McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona, went to the Panthers. Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle, from the Texas Longhorns, goes to the Saints. Colston Loveland, tight end from Michigan, goes to Chicago Bears. Michael Williams, edge, Georgia, 49ers. Tyler Booker, guard, Alabama, Cowboys. Kenneth Grant Jr., defensive tackle, Michigan, to your Miami Dolphins. Tyler Warren, tight end, Penn State, Indianapolis Colts. Jalen Walker, edge, Georgia, Atlanta Falcons. Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, Mississippi, Arizona Cardinals. Shamar Stewart, edge, Texas A&M, Bengals. Gray Zabel, guard, North Dakota State, Seattle Seahawks. Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver, Ohio State, Buccaneers. Jahdae Brown, cornerback, Texas, Denver Broncos. Derek Harmon, defensive tackle, Oregon, Pittsburgh Steelers. Omarion Hampton, running back, North Carolina, Los Angeles Chargers. Matthew Golden, wide receiver, Texas, Packers. Donovan Jackson, guard, Ohio State Vikings. Giants traded up to this spot to get Jackson Dart, quarterback from Mississippi. Atlanta Falcons grabbed James Pierce, edge, Tennessee. Malachi Starks, safety from Georgia, went to the Ravens. And the Detroit Lions just picked Tyleik Williams. Tyleik Williams, defensive tackle, Ohio State. So just going with more defensive toughness. And Detroit just continues to try to build out a strong, tough team. Little surprised they didn't trade down there, but they must have liked that kid. Washington Commanders on the clock, followed by the Bills, Chiefs, Eagles. That's it. 4 picks remain. I don't see the Commanders trading down unless they have lots of picks. Let's check that out. So Commanders are on the clock. Shedeur Sanders is still on the board. Commanders have, wow, they have so few picks in this draft. Yeah, goldfish. Dolphins eat fish, right? It's all we had for snacks available, Justin. It's the end of the week. There's no food left in the house. The kids keep eating everything. They were the Parmesan ones. So goldfish were BOGO this week at Publix. Buy one, get one free. So my older kids picked Parmesan. The younger kids, the younger daughter picked the baby goldfish because they're cute. Regular flavor, just baby, but those are basically gone. So Parmesan goldfish. Not my favorite. I do like pizza. Like the flavor blasted pizza are pretty good. Definitely a favorite. All right, so we got 3 picks. Is that right? Or 4? We have 4 picks remaining in the first round here. Washington Commanders on the clock. No notification of a trade. Usually that gets called out right away. I'm going to say this. I'm going to guess. We've been pretty good on our predictions tonight. I'm going to say one of the Chiefs or the Eagles trade out of the first round. One of those two. Hold on. I'll be right back with you. Which one? I'm not sure. I don't know which one is going to trade, but I think one of those two will. Those rosters are so deep, it benefits them to have more picks. But I'll tell you what, Commander's pick is in. But being that they didn't have many picks in this draft, I wonder if people just don't want. Is it possible nobody really cares about moving up? Frank's Red Hot. Ooh, I will have to check that out. That sounds good. I like me some spicy snacks. I also saw they have flaming hot Funyuns. So I like Funyuns. Flaming hot Funyuns. That sounds fun. So we were waiting to see. The Commander's pick is in. Once the final pick of the first round is done, we're going to scooch because I'm going to record a video here really quick. I'm going to do my do a brief little reaction video, maybe two, and maybe a short. I gotta create some content here quickly, and it's getting late. And I still, excuse me, still got to be up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. So, but I'm going to try to make a video. Who do you guys think has won the first round? I know there's still picks to be made. But I've got Falcons, Giants, Titans, Jaguars, Browns. Those are my 5. Yep, I agree, Welsh. Giants avoided the shiny object in Shedeur Sanders and went with a much sensible for New York pick, maybe, Jackson Dart. I like both the trade-ins. Falcons traded in and swooped up someone who had fallen pretty far, and a Georgia kid at that. You know, Titans can't go wrong with Cam Ward. He's the best quarterback in the class. It doesn't mean he's going to be a superstar, but they did what they had to do. I like the Jaguars moving up for Travis Henry. Here we go. The pick in is Josh Connerly Jr., offensive tackle from Oregon. Yeah, but the Giants need a quarterback, Justin, and I know they had to give up picks to go there, but I think it was the right move for them. And they didn't. If they had moved up and gotten Shedeur, it would have been fun, but I don't know if that would have been the most prudent pick. Bills are on the clock. Bills are on the clock. And it's not just that the Falcons and Giants traded up that I like it. It's who they got with what they traded up for. And I think there was some wisdom on that part. I think there was some wisdom on the part of both of them. Falcons grabbed a guy who kept dropping. So my question here with this Will Johnson kid, this cornerback from Michigan, is he way more hurt than we think? Because ESPN had him ranked number 10 overall. And we're on pick 30. I mean, there's no way the Bills are going to trade with the Dolphins, and the Bills need a cornerback. I don't know. Do the Bills take him here? Is that too risky? I feel like he's a good guy to pick if you have 2 first-round picks. But are you going to spend your only first round pick on a guy who's dealt with turf toe and hamstring injuries and stuff? Especially a cornerback where you got to be able to go. Second round pick, that's one thing, but I still think you've got Shador Sanders to the Steelers in play. I think that is in play. Question is, do they care enough to trade up for him? And who would trade? Would the Eagles trade? Let's look at the Eagles picks. Eagles have a ton of picks already. But I mean, if the Eagles could get the Steelers' first round pick for next year, I wonder if the Eagles do that. The Eagles have a first, a second, a third, a fourth, and 4 fifth-round picks. And they're almost all in a row. They're 25, 28, 29, and 32. I mean, the Eagles could send their first-round pick and one of their fifth-round picks for the Steelers. Second, their first next year, and one other pick, one other lower pick. Whatever is needed to slot that out. I could see that happening. I don't see the Chiefs trading with the Steelers to help the Steelers get a quarterback, though. Bills pick is in. The Bills are not trading it. There's only 2 picks remaining. Chiefs and Eagles. After this Bills pick is given out, we're almost done. You've almost made it to the end of the draft. We're waiting for the Bills pick. That pick is in, has not yet been announced. So let me know in the comments below. I'm going to put together my top 5 winners from the draft tonight. So far, I've got Falcons, Giants, Titans, Jaguars, Browns. But that Browns is kind of pending on if the Browns trade back in to get Shador. So I've got the Browns in a little bit of flux. I think I have the Giants as the best overall draft. Again, just talking round 1, just speculation. But let me know, which teams do you think are the winners tonight? Seeing Giants, that's the main name. And I agree, because they didn't reach. A lot of people had the Giants picking either Shador or Jackson Dart in the number 3 spot. And instead they got the best player that they wanted there. And they still got the quarterback just by trading up. We're waiting. We're waiting. Match through a table here for the Buffalo Bills. Who is their pick going to be? Yeah, I don't really care about the Bills either, but it's more to just get past this to see. I think one of Philadelphia or Kansas City, one of those two is going to make a trade. I think someone's going to trade in here. Let's see. I'm going to guess Will Johnson. Will Johnson, I'm going to guess, is going to the Bills here. Nope. They go Maxwell Hairston, Cornerback, Kentucky. Maxwell Hairston, cornerback, Kentucky. So 2 picks remain. 2 picks remain in round 1 of the 2025 MLB draft. 3 baseball games in progress right now. Pirates Angels still tied at 3. That's top 8. Diamondbacks leading the Rays 4-3, top 7. Rangers over the Athletics 3-2. That's middle of the 5th. On the clock is the Eagles. I'm getting tired. Anybody else getting tired? This is great. This is like 4 hours for 32 picks. You're doing 8 picks an hour. I'm tired. I'm sick. Let's just make this pick. I'm tired. I'm sick. Let's just make this pick. Who you got? Who you got? Let's go. I'm going to guess Mike Green here. Start off grading this picking game. I was 4 for 7. I was 4 for 4. Now I'm 4 for 7. Can't pick anybody. Can't pick any of the draft picks correct. We are waiting for the Philadelphia Eagles to make their pick. Who you got, Philadelphia? And then, yep, and then the Chiefs. That's it. I know I'm getting tired, Justin. Getting tired. Just make the pick already, Philly. Pick is in. Pick is in. There's one way to avoid falling asleep. These are long days when you get up at 6 a.m. with your kids. And then you know you got to get up at 6 a.m. the next day. Stand up. It's harder to fall asleep standing up. All right, so Philadelphia makes the pick. Are the Chiefs going to trade their pick? I said it. One of the two were. Let's go. Everybody's tired and everybody hates the Chiefs. Let's just get this draft over. Except Redman. I know Redman's been waiting all night for the Chiefs pick. Standing up. It's hard. Hard to fall asleep standing up. Got one of those adjustable desks. So gotta take advantage of it. Eagles pick is in. I'm going to quickly try to record like 2 videos here tonight. What time does the draft start tomorrow? NFL draft. Does it start earlier or is it the same time? Starts 7 tomorrow. So I won't be on for the start of the draft. Because we have baseball practice tomorrow night. We'll see. I might come on at the end. Maybe like 8 to midnight or something. It's like the same time as tonight. Let's go, Eagles. Pick is in. Let's go, NFL. Somebody. Roger Goodell. Somebody tell me what this pick is. I've got 2 videos to record. I really want to see the Browns jump in and take Shador. Will the Chiefs trade with the Browns? Maybe. All right, let's look at the Chiefs picks. Wow, Chiefs have a ton of picks. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 7, 7, 7. So the Chiefs could definitely trade back to like future years. We're still waiting for this pick. The pick has been in for like 5 minutes here. Can't do this, guys. Can't do this. Getting old. My bedtime is like 8:30. Yeah, just go. I just run right into the shelf, bang my head against Rally Pig. This will keep me awake. All right, come on. Oh, so I was confused because I was like, wait, okay. Why did the Eagle okay, so the Eagles traded number 32. So this was a trade. I was thinking the Chiefs were on the clock. Why are the Eagles on the why would the Eagles trade up one spot? And why would the Chiefs trade with the Eagles? That doesn't make any sense. The Eagles trade number 32 and 164 to the Chiefs for spot number 31. How does that make any sense whatsoever? I'm so confused. Why would you do that? Because if you're worried that the Chiefs are going to pick the guy that you want, why would the Chiefs trade with you? And if the Chiefs are willing to trade with you, then they obviously don't care that much about the guy that you want. This seems like a weird thing to me. Is this vibing weird to anybody else? I'm not saying there's collusion going on, but that's weird. Why would you just move up one spot in the draft? Why flip-flop with the other person? Because if they're willing to trade with you, it means they don't care that much about whoever you pick. So to me, it just feels like the Eagles just gave a pick away. Am I missing? Tell me what I'm missing. It probably doesn't matter at all. I'm probably missing lots of things. Need Rally Pig. Pet Rock. Let's go, Pet Rock. You're my brains now. All right. Jihad Campbell out of Alabama, a linebacker. That is who the Eagles traded up for. I have no idea why they felt like they needed to make that trade. Unless there's another trade. Why would you? I just don't understand why you would switch spots with a person in front of you. Because if they're willing to trade, it means they don't care about the player you want anyway. I'm so confused. All right, well, I mean, more power to the Chiefs, but so Chiefs basically just got a free draft pick by moving down one spot. I mean, it was nothing crazy. It's pick 164, so it's like a 5th round pick or something. $32. Let's see. 164 divided by 32. So it's like a 6th round pick or something. I mean, I get why the Chiefs would do it. I just don't get why the Eagles would have done that. Does anybody want to try to explain to me? So this is the Chiefs pick. The pick is in. Let's make the pick so we can go to bed. But does anybody want to explain to me why in the world the Eagles would give up a pick to move up one spot over the Chiefs? Like, I can understand if you moved up 2 spots to get ahead of the Chiefs because you're going to pick behind them and now you're going to move up to pick in front of them and jump the gun. That makes sense. Like to move up from 32 to 30 and jump them at 31. That makes sense. But to just swap picks with the Chiefs to move up a single spot and give them another draft pick, that doesn't. I don't know. I'm too tired to care. Too tired to care right now. The pick is in for the Kansas City Chiefs. Newer generational managing. Yeah. It's the best slot. It's the best slot to pick the guy. I don't know. Fans would hate me as a general manager because I would just keep trading picks back. I would like trade picks back until I had like the entire first round of a draft 20 years from now. I'd want to always have so much ammunition that I could jump up and snag any player that I wanted at any time I wanted. And if I didn't have the player that I wanted, I'd just keep trading back. That's what I would do. And all the fans would hate me. I'd own like 77th round picks in the 2035 draft. And then I'd always have like 3 or 4 first round picks from the next year. Just keep stockpiling, keep trading them. Go 2 for 1 on those first round picks, nonstop forever. I think this draft it's much more about how many darts you throw than trying to hit the bullseye one time. It's such a crapshoot. And I would just rather have 20 darts rather than 7 darts. And I'd rather have darts for next year than darts for this year, especially in this draft. This draft is just not, other than like 2 or 3 players, it's not like super exciting to me. Like, just save my darts for the next year. You can have all of my this year darts. Give me darts for next year and the year after. All right. So the pick is in. You suck at darts. Yeah. Have you ever watched darts on TV where those guys are just like lunatics and triple 20, triple 20? Like you would think hitting the bullseye is worth the most. No, triple 20 is worth more than a bullseye. Doesn't matter. They can hit them both. All right, so the pick is in for the Chiefs. We're literally just waiting for what it is, and then we'll go through all the picks one last time, and then we're going to go because I'm going to make a quick couple of videos. They're all on Adderall, yeah. I mean, they've just done the same motion thousands of times. It's just all muscle memory. Well, I guess the Browns really can get – Browns have the first pick in the second round for the trade that they made. All right. Shedeur Sanders does not go in the first round. Josh Simmons, offensive tackle, Ohio State, is the last pick of the first round. So Ohio State got some picks in there at the end. Michigan dominated early, but Ohio State came through later. All right. So starting tomorrow, Cleveland will be on the clock. Will Shedeur Sanders go first pick in round 2? I guess that remains to be seen. Let me run through the draft really quick. It is in the books. Round 1. You guys tell me anybody that you think, any teams that you think Any teams you think are worth it? Let me see. Oh, I just want to see what the Browns have for. Do the Browns have picks 1 and 3 in the second round? They have picks 1 and 4. It's pretty good. They have 2 picks, so I think it's still a win. I think it's still a win for the Browns because they didn't have to trade up and they still have Shedeur Sanders available to them. All right, very quickly. Pick 1, Tennessee Titans, Cam Ward, quarterback, Miami. Pick 2, Jacksonville Jaguars, Travis Hunter, cornerback, wide receiver, Colorado. Pick 3, New York Giants, Abdul Carter, edge, Penn State. Pick 4, New England Patriots, Will Campbell, offensive tackle, LSU. Pick 5, Cleveland Browns, Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan. Pick 6, Las Vegas Raiders, Ashton Genty, running back, Boise State. Pick 7, New York Jets, Armand Membu, offensive tackle, Missouri. Pick 8, Carolina Panthers, Teteroa McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona. Pick 9, New Orleans Saints, Kevin Banks Jr., offensive tackle, Texas. Pick 10, Chicago Bears, Colston Loveland, tight end, Michigan. Pick 11, San Francisco 49ers, Michael Williams, edge, Georgia. Pick 12, Dallas Cowboys, Tyler Booker, guard, Alabama. Pick 13, Miami Dolphins, Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle, Michigan. Pick 14, Indianapolis Colts, Tyler Warren, tight end, Penn State. Pick 15, Atlanta Falcons, Jalen Walker, edge, Georgia. Pick 16, Arizona Cardinals, Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, Mississippi. Pick 17, Cincinnati Bengals, Shamar Stewart, edge, Texas A&M. 18, Seattle Seahawks, Gray Zabel, guard, North Dakota State. 19, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver, Ohio State. 20, Denver Broncos, Jahdae Barron, cornerback, Texas. 21, Pittsburgh Steelers, Derek Harmon, defensive tackle, Oregon. 22, Los Angeles Chargers, Omarion Hampton, running back, North Carolina. 23, Green Bay Packers, Matthew Golden, wide receiver, Texas. 24, Minnesota Vikings, Donovan Jackson, guard, Ohio State. 25, Giants traded up, Jackson Dart, quarterback, Mississippi. 26, Falcons traded up, James Pierce Jr., edge, Tennessee. 27, Baltimore Ravens, Malachi Starks, safety, Georgia. 28, Detroit Lions, Tyleek Williams, defensive tackle, Ohio State. 29, Washington Commanders, Josh Connerly Jr., offensive tackle, Oregon. 30, Buffalo Bills, Maxwell Hairston, cornerback, Kentucky. 31, Philadelphia Eagles, Jihad Campbell, linebacker, Alabama. And pick number 32, Kansas City Chiefs, Josh Simmons, offensive tackle, Ohio State. So that is the breakdown of the round 1 of the NFL draft. We'll be back with you tomorrow night for at least some draft coverage, but it will not be the whole third or the whole second and third round because I'll be busy for the first half. But the second half of the draft will come on. We'll give a recap of everything that you need to know. We'll deep dive all the Dolphins players. I'm going to put out 2 videos tonight, I hope, if all goes well. I'm going to put out my winners and losers, or at least my winners of day 1 of the NFL draft, which is the Falcons, Giants, Titans, Jaguars, Browns. And then I'm going to give an overview of why Kenneth Grant Jr., picked by the Miami Dolphins, is not as bad of a pick as most Dolphins fans think. So appreciate you guys hanging out. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe on the way out. This is MetropoliFins. We are YouTube's smallest New York Mets and Miami Dolphins channel. My name is Craig. I appreciate you guys hanging out here with us, but I'm going to record these videos and I'm going to get to bed because I got to be up early in the morning. We will talk to you guys again soon.